Well, it is all said. It is all done. The final clock has run out on the Denver Nuggets. The final buzzer sounded on their season, on really the Nikola Jokic era in Denver, in my estimation, at least as this team is currently constituted. We'll get into all of that and more tonight. Thanks for joining me here on Skap Live After Dark. Yes, the Denver Nuggets, who decided to close the regular season of the 2025-2026 NBA league year on a 12-game win streak to take that 3 seed and the Minnesota Timberwolves. All they had to do was lose one of their remaining 12 games, and they would have had the Houston Rockets. Well, that decision blew up in their faces like a hilarious exploding cigar. And even as it was a comedy of errors throughout the course of this series, with players on both teams dropping like flies, it looked as if the Denver Nuggets had won that war of attrition, as the Minnesota Timberwolves were without Anthony Edwards, their leading scorer in the regular season, probably a second-team All-NBA selected player this season. They also lost their starting point guard for the year, Dante DiVincenzo, when he erupted his Achilles in the same game that Ant-Man got hurt in. And then today, a late addition on the old injury report, Ayo Dosunmu, who was their leading playoff scorer, out with a calf strain. Now, again, a late addition today. So it would look like the Denver Nuggets got all the breaks that they would need in the world, a team that has had its own absurd injury luck, or I should say unluck, over the course of this season, this playoff run, and virtually every year of Nikola Jokic's 6-year prime now. They've really had only one clean year, but it looked like the injury gods were finally afflicting an opponent of theirs in the Minnesota Timberwolves. And lo and behold, not even that can save this scrubbish loser organization, this scrubbish loser team from being eliminated in the first round of these playoffs. The Denver Nuggets, I guess they were the 4th odds-on favorite this year to win the NBA championship. To start the regular season, they were the 4th odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship. To start this postseason, they were behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs, and Boston Celtics at the beginning of this postseason run. And now they win just 2 games. An absolutely humiliating and pathetic flame out for the ages by this team, by this roster, by virtually everyone involved. And look, I am fair, if nothing else, and I am consistent. I crushed Nikola Jokic. I did. I beat him up badly at the end of game 3. I'm sorry, at the end of game 4, when they lost that one to go down 3-1. And Jokic had been humiliated by his standards in games 2, 3, and 4. He played a great game, I thought, in game 1. He was the best player on the floor in game 1, and then was a non-factor, a straight disappearing act by him in games 2, 3, and 4. Well, in games 5 and 6, he did respond. He figured it out. He solved Gobert. He was the best player on the floor by far without margin the last 2 games. And tonight, facing elimination on the road, Jokic was as good as you can expect Jokic to be against a 4-time defensive player of the year and a defense completely funneled into him. Jokic, 28 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds tonight on 11 of 19 shooting from the field. But in a tale as old as time for this pathetic roster built by a pathetic and disgraceful organization that has flushed this guy's prime and his career, basically his entire career, down a toilet, nobody else shows up. Well, not nobody else. Shout out to Cam Johnson, who I thought really, other than the injury, I thought he fit in magnificently on this roster all year long. I thought he was practically their 3rd best player because Aaron Gordon never really could play, both in the regular season and the postseason. So Cam Johnson really was, to me, all year long, the 3rd best guy behind Jokic and Murray. And tonight it was just Jokic and Cam Johnson because, again, in a tale as old as time, Jamal Murray was an absolute bum tonight. He was a bum for the majority and basically the entirety of this series, just completely and totally shut down and owned by this Timberwolves defense. He got a plethora of good looks tonight, a plethora of great looks down the stretch in the fourth quarter, and he just could not cash in on any of them. Jamal Murray tonight in the eliminator, 12 points, 4 of 17 shooting from the field, including 1 of 12 to end the game. 4 of 17 for 12 points and a minus 18 for Jamal Murray because he's awful defensively. I know everybody wants to talk about Jokic and the disadvantage that he puts on this team and strains them defensively. Look, this is an abysmal perimeter defensive team, which is why there's so much action going to the rim. No, Nikola Jokic is not a terrific rim protector or rim defender. But actually with Jokic off the floor, this Denver Nuggets team allows a higher percentage at the rim on more frequent attempts at the rim. So they're bad no matter what because they have no perimeter defense in the starting lineup or when you go to the bench. And that is spearheaded by Jamal Murray, who was absolutely terrible defensively. And he makes up for it during the regular season with his offense. But this is now 3 consecutive seasons where he has just completely evaporated in the postseason. You can excuse it away maybe the last 2 years and say he wasn't right physically. That is not an excuse that is present or available for the Denver Nuggets now at this point in the season for Jamal Murray. He's coming off of a career year where he earned his first All-Star bid ever. He's going to make an All-NBA team selection more than likely. And he entered tonight's game shooting 36% from the field for this series. And that percentage has lowered after tonight's performance. I can assure you that because he was just 4 of 17. Shout out to Christian Braun as well. This guy signed a 5-year, $125 million contract in the summer, which doesn't even activate till next year, actually. So they're on the hook for him starting next year for $125 million over 5 years. How does 3 points on 1 of 4 from the field grab you for Christian Braun tonight? So next year, Jamal Murray will be making $50 million. 50. Christian Braun will be making $21 million. That is 71 million cumulative United States dollars going to the tandem of Jamal Murray and Christian Braun, who tonight in this elimination game on the road combined 5 of 21 for 15 points. 5 of 21 for 15 points for your starting backcourt, which is combining for $71 million. That is when Cam Johnson had a huge game tonight in support of Jokic. Again, the only guy that decided to show up. 27 points for Cam Johnson on 8 of 15 shooting, 5 of 10 from the field. Really good game from Cam Johnson and a really good fit on this Denver Nuggets team. They should keep him moving forward if they don't blow the whole team up, which I think they should. Jokic, the only other Nugget that decided to appear tonight on the court. Again, 28 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds for him. Nikola Jokic now for the series, a series in which he struggled largely, a series in which, again, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert had his moments. Nikola Jokic ended up shooting 45% from the field in this series. So definitely below the average for Nikola Jokic and the standard that he has set for himself. But again, a series where his entire supporting cast completely evaporated, vanished, and abandoned him, like basically every single season in the postseason for him throughout his prime. And with a defense, an elite defensive team led by an elite defensive player in Rudy Gobert, with the defense funneled into him with no alleviation or relief from any of the supporting cast for the majority of the series. Nikola Jokic, 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. So a half of assist away from a 26-point triple-double on 45% shooting. And it's not good enough to get out of the first round of the playoffs against a team missing its 3 best backcourt players, a team that just looked better than the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets basically never led in this game. They were up one at the end of one. Minnesota won the second half easily, or the second quarter easily, 28-20. Minnesota won the third quarter 25-24. Minnesota won the fourth quarter 28-24. So the Nuggets won the first quarter by 1 point, a quarter they were down much of, by the way. And then they lost every single quarter after that because Minnesota, even without all the players they were without, just a better team, it looked like, than the Denver Nuggets. They got 32 points from Jaden McDaniels. Shout out to him. Shout out to Jaden McDaniels because he talked his shit. He called his shot. He never wavered the whole series. And he definitely showed up in a major way tonight in this elimination game at home. 32 points, 13 of 25 shooting, 25 shots for Jaden McDaniels, 32 points, 10 rebounds. Julius Randle, 18 points. Rudy Gobert, 10 points. Terrence Shannon, 24 points tonight, 15 points from Naz Reid off the bench. Just a better team, even without their three best backcourt players. And that is really a poignant statement to make about the Denver Nuggets that have Nikola Jokic now in his age 31 season. Just not good enough. Not a good enough roster construction, not good enough team built around this guy. And, you know, at the end of the first half, I was deciding which way I was going to make my video about this game or what I was going to say tonight on this live stream. And I was getting ready to call Nikola Jokic out, but he responded. He came out in the second half. He scored or assisted on like 23 of the first 25 points that they scored, or 21 of the first 23 points that the Nuggets scored in the third quarter. He scored or assisted on them. He played every second. He might have come out for a brief 30-second rest at the very end of the fourth quarter, and this game was over. But he played 43 minutes tonight. Both teams really shorthanded. Neither team played a depth of players. The Nuggets played really three principal guys off the bench. Zeke Nnaji and Valanciunas got only 3 and 4 minutes. So other than that, it was an 8-man rotation for them. And the Timberwolves played only 8 men off the bench, 34 minutes for Naz Reid, 12 for Clark, and 9 for Highland off the bench for them. Their starters played a ton of minutes tonight, too. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are just a better organization. They have better leadership at the top. Their team, their roster, just more character, more heart, more desire than the vast majority of this Denver Nuggets squad. And I think that major and substantial changes now should be in the offering this offseason for the Denver Nuggets, who are now find themselves at a crossroads. They won the NBA championship in 2023 with, truth be told, the first really outlier season of health that they've had within a 6-year span of time. But they also had different players, more veteran players, better glue guys, a better bench, a more reliable bench in these moments. And that roster is long gone now. And these players are simply not reliable, either due to the injuries that they sustain, like Aaron Gordon, who is just never going to be available, and a guy that you will never be able to count on again, or guys that just completely evaporate and vanish in the big moments. And when they actually get a difficult defensive matchup, like Jamal Murray, who shot likely below 35% or right around it now for this series with this game factored in. I didn't run his numbers like I did Nikola Jokic's. But, I mean, they've got massive contract issues and problems moving forward. Next year now, this is the money that is guaranteed now. Nikola Jokic, $59 million. Jamal Murray, $50 million. Aaron Gordon, $33 million. Cam Johnson, $23 million. Christian Brown, $21 million. Jonas Valanciunas, $10 million. And Zeke Nnaji somehow still $8 million. This guy barely plays, and he's collecting still $8 million next year and $7.5 million the following year. Just a series of pitiful roster decisions and contract decisions, bad personnel, bad team building, bad, all the way down the line. And the Denver Nuggets have shown and proven now over the last 3 seasons that they are not remotely close, which is why I believe that this is a good thing. It's a good thing that they ultimately bow out here, because if they somehow find a way to scratch this game out, a game they didn't deserve, in a series they didn't deserve, and they go back home in game 7 and win that game, then if they went into a setting with the Spurs and played better or more competitively, I don't think they would have beaten the Spurs, especially with no Aaron Gordon, no Peyton Watson. But if they would have been more competitive, there could have been more excuses. Now it's time. We have reached a time and a point now within the Nikola Jokic era in Denver where the excuses have to stop with the way this roster has been put together and the contracts they have on the books. Something major has to happen. When you lose in the first round, when you win only 2 games in the postseason, you got to blow this whole thing up. I think the quickest and best way that this team can get back to a competitive state, realistically, is trading Nikola Jokic. You trade Jokic, his value will never be higher. He's still contractually obligated for next year. He has a player option the following year. Obviously, you would work with him and try to decide the best place he would want to go and then how much you can get from that destination. And you work probably with a long-term sign and extension with him when he gets to that new team. You get a litany of draft collateral at that point. You clear his $60 million off the book. Then it's a fire sale. Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, their $83 million are up for grabs. So basically, you've got nothing now on the books. You are collecting all of these draft picks and getting either young talent or expiring contracts. And that is how the Denver Nuggets can quickly work towards a rebuild if they had a real front office, which they don't, but who cares? We don't have to worry about that element of it. They're closer to being competitors and contenders doing that than they are keeping this team as it is. A half measure, in my estimation, would be just trying to shop Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Christian Brown. Now, no one's taking Christian Brown. $125 million due after this year over 5 years for a guy that just scored 3 points tonight. 3 points. And for this season or for this series, he's now probably, when you factor this, he's averaging about 7 points per game. For $125 million over the next, it's just another Michael Porter Jr. situation where he's a single-digit scorer in the postseason making like $25 million a year. Can't win with these kind of bad decisions, especially when you have these bad decisions and then the other actual contributors and good players like Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon can't get on the floor because of injuries. But again, it's a good thing because this team simply cannot survive the way in which it's constructed right now. So I think the time is here and the time is now for Nikola Jokic to apply some kind of pressure. He will never demand a trade, so I'm not suggesting he does that. But it's time that he goes and has a serious conversation with upper management, the front office, and decide what's the true path and direction of this roster and the pieces around him, because it's obvious that they can't beat Minnesota head-to-head. They can't beat Oklahoma City head-to-head. After this year, they won't be able to beat San Antonio head-to-head. If the Lakers get rid of LeBron and build around Luka, they won't be able to beat the Lakers head-to-head. So that's 5-ish teams that are better right off jump to start the season next year than this team if you bring it back as currently constituted. So I think that the Nuggets are going to have to do something here. Otherwise, if I'm Jokic, I don't demand a trade, but I do sit and I think long and hard about that extension this year because they will offer him one. His player option for $63 million in 2027, 2028, he can just void that and not pick it up, which means next year could be the last year of obligation he has to the Denver Nuggets. So maybe he just plays it out if they do nothing and just looks at takes a look at the league and everything that's going on, and perhaps maybe he makes a decision to take his talents elsewhere. Now, I'm not suggesting he does a LeBron James move and takes his talents to a top 3 league-wide player like LeBron did when he was 26 or 27 years old and he joined up with Dwayne Wade, who was like the 3rd best player in the NBA. I'm not suggesting he does that. I'm not suggesting he does a Kevin Durant move and joins the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I am suggesting that maybe it's time for Nikola Jokic to think about life outside of Denver if nothing is done this summer, like major, in terms of get rid of Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon. That clears $83 million now or more moving forward for the next 3 years, because Murray is contracted for 50 plus million for 3 years after this one, and Gordon is contracted for 33 plus million for 3 years after this one. So I think you got to shed those guys. And even if you don't get good pieces, you just get draft pieces. Ideally, you get just scrappy, athletic, two-way players or guys at 3-and-D guys that you can fill out the bench with and just build around Jokic and Peyton Watson. That would be the direction, the half steps measure I would take. But if it's nothing, maybe Nikola Jokic thinks about life elsewhere now at this point, other than Denver. Guys, we can talk obviously substantially about the Denver Nuggets. We're 20 minutes in now here, 21 minutes on the East Coast at 12:45 in the AM. The Denver Nuggets bowing out like absolute losers. We got 900 people in here now on Skap Live After Dark. Shout out and welcome to you. Moderator Gary was running late and he couldn't hop on when we started. Yes, he's here now. I'm scolding him. I told him to hop on or else I was going to get headed running downhill and it would be a while before I could bring him into the mix. I will bring him in here momentarily. 919. Can we get 1,000 on here? We're going to talk more Denver Nuggets. I'm sure there's a lot of commentary rolling around already. 11. Gary's giving me some kind of a thumbs up. I guess I don't know what he's saying. Let me just bring him in here real quick. Okay. Gary is on board now. Gary is in.
Tell them to hit the thumbs up button. Everyone hit the thumbs up, please.
Hit the thumbs up, Gary wants you to do. We've got like 1,200 comments right now in the live chat. We got 14 super chats lined up already. Shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for that kind of support. I really do appreciate you. We will get to all of those super chats. I will get to everything and more on this Denver Nuggets debacle. But first, real quick, before I bring Gary in to say a couple words here, and we might get to some super chats, I do want to just go around the league because the Nuggets weren't the only fraudulent bums in action tonight. The Atlanta Hawks, who took a 2-1 series lead in this, the Knicks won game 1, and then the Hawks responded by winning 2 close games back-to-back. In New York to get the split. Then they go to Atlanta. They win another close game to go up 2-1. And since that, they have gotten absolutely woodshedded by the New York Knicks. I believe they lost by 15 points in game 4 to even that 2-2. Then the Knicks went home and they destroyed the Hawks. They went on the road and they destroyed the Hawks in game 5 by 30 to take the 3-2 lead. Then I'm getting this all backwards. They were actually tonight they were in Atlanta. So they went home and won by 30 to take the 3-2 lead. And they went on the road tonight in Atlanta. And they win by, I don't even know, what is this? 51 points was the final margin, I guess. 51-point win. This was one of the least competitive playoff games I've ever seen in my life. I've been watching playoff basketball for roughly 30 years now. And at halftime, the lead at one point was 72-22. 72-22. And it was a 47-point margin of difference at halftime. And I was sitting watching the game and I said to myself, I've been watching basketball for a long time. I don't recall personally seeing this big of a differential at halftime in a playoff game. And that's because no one has ever seen it. That was the all-time NBA record for a margin of differential at halftime, 47 points. Another record set tonight, 61-point lead at one point for the New York Knicks, which is the most in like the shot clock era or something like that in NBA history. And it was the most points the Knicks, I think, have ever scored in their franchise's history. 140-89 final. Just an absolutely laughable game, a laughable performance by the Atlanta Hawks, who closed the year on an amazing run. And they looked every bit what they were for the last like half of the year or post trade deadline part of the year. They came out in this series. They were competitive in game 1. They won games 2 and 3. Started questioning maybe Atlanta's just a better team. New York again, 15, 30, and 51-point wins in 3 consecutive games after falling down 2-1. Credit to them. Credit to the Knicks for turning this one around. All 5 guys for New York in double digits in the starting lineup. And that's something because none of them played more than like 27 minutes because this game was over at halftime. A bunch of bench minutes here. The Knicks played like 15 play. They played like 18 players tonight. I can't even look at all the players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players played off the bench for the Knicks. I can't remember a game in the playoffs where I saw 10. They must have been just getting people out of the stands. Hey, bro, do you want to get some run in here in this postseason game? Like, same with the Hawks. I mean, they played like 9 people, it looks like, as well, because the entire second half was garbage points. So now the Atlanta Hawks, who I thought the arrow was pointed way up on them, even if they lost this series, now you have to question what truly is the future now for this lineup. What are they going to do with CJ McCollum? And let me check out their contract situation as well. A lot of guys under contract. CJ McCollum is not one of them. He's on a $30 million expiring contract this year. You got to make a decision on him. He's 34 years of age. I would obviously be bringing him back. Jalen Johnson, a deal. They have Jalen Johnson is due $150 million over 5 years. Now, $30 million comes off the book here. So 4 years and $120 million for Jalen Johnson moving forward. That's a deal. The Denver Nuggets are paying Christian Brown $125 million over the next 5 seasons. The Hawks got Jalen Johnson on a 4-year, $120 million contract. Steal. You've got Jonathan Kuminga next year on a 1-year team option. So you got to figure out what you want to do with him. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, again, look at these amazing contracts. I am so disgusted by the Denver Nuggets books when I'm looking at the books of the Atlanta Hawks. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is on the books through 2028, 2029 for $44 million. He's making $14 million next year, $15 million the following year, and then $15 million the year after that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I would literally trade any player on the Denver Nuggets, any one of them, for Nickeil Alexander-Walker right now. And he's making like less money than 5 guys on the Denver Nuggets. Zeke Nnaji is making half of what Nickeil Alexander-Walker is making. It's disgusting. The books, the sheet on the Denver Nuggets. They've got Dyson Daniels on contract again for the next 5 years, 4 years after this one, to the tune of $25 million a year. All of these contracts are amazing looking, the ones that they have at length. So if I'm Atlanta, you just got to basically get a nice center, re-up CJ McCollum, and you're rolling, I think, next year. They're only committed, I use the word only, but they're only committed for $153 million next year. So you can maybe go out and tinker with this lineup a little bit. The Knicks, meanwhile, well, they're on to the next round. Kudos to them. Shout out to them. Great regular season again for like the 3rd straight year. And they're just a team that's built for postseason success. Who they will play, we do not know, because the Boston Celtics, well, they're up to their old antics again. Speaking of bums and frauds, there's just bums and frauds galore playing tonight. The Denver Nuggets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics, who, again, were the 3rd odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship at the beginning of these playoffs. A team I thought that was too big to fail in the Eastern Conference, at least. A team I thought that could compete with whatever came out of the West. Let's see if they can even get out of the first round, shall we? Because they get smoked again tonight by the Philadelphia 76ers. Again, they were favored by, I don't know, like 5 or 6 points on the road. They've been favored in every game this series. They were favored by like double digits at home in the 2 games they got blown out in. They were favored by like 6 points on the road tonight in Philly, and they get worked again. 106-93 final, a game that wasn't even that close. Philly was rolling in this 4th quarter. a full-scale systemic no-show by the low-character Boston Celtics. And then on the other side, the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that I mock, ridicule, and make fun of quite frequently. I just got to tip my hat to them because a lot of the guys that I do crush routinely are showing up right now, and they're having big series. Paul George, who is typically pandemic P in the postseason and a full-time podcaster, part-time NBA player, 23 points tonight, 8 of 17 from the field, plus 11. Joel Embiid, not right, as he never will be ever again in his career, but he's gutting it out. He's out there. He's playing. He's doing whatever he can. He got 10 rebounds tonight. I kind of made fun of his 4 rebounds last game in 33 minutes. 19 and 10 for him and 8 assists, a near triple-double for Joel Embiid. And everybody, 5 guys in the starting lineup for the Philadelphia 76ers in double figures. And Tyrese Maxey continues to be just a fantastic player. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. He doesn't always shoot that effectively from the field. He's kind of a volume scorer at times, but 30 points tonight for him and plus 15 on the plus minus. All of the starters were just magnificent. They were all big time plus minus, led by Kelly Oubre Jr., plus 23 for him. Not a lot off the bench for this Philadelphia 76ers team. 6 points, 6. And Boston still gets blown out, hammered, and gets evened in this series now 3-3. That will be a very interesting finale. Boston will be favored big time again in that one at home. But who knows? They will have an immense amount of pressure on them there to close that and to not choke away a 3-1 series lead. So that's what we had play out tonight, guys. 3 home teams, big wins by all 3 of them. Well, actually, Atlanta was home, so I can't say that. They got absolutely worked at home. I guess I should say 3 teams that were facing elimination. 2 of them go out, and 1 team staves off elimination at home, the Philadelphia 76ers. They will live to fight another day. We are now 32 minutes in here, approaching 1 a.m. on the old East Coast of the US of A. Gary, welcome in. Say something to the people, will you?
So much to say. Where do I start? I think we are settling. LeBron clearly is not the GOAT because tonight we established who the GOAT is, and his name is Jaden McDaniels. I think Kawhi Leonard and Jaden McDaniels swapped bodies because he looked like Kawhi Leonard tonight, did he not?
I mean, he played a great game. He played a great game on both sides. He completely owned Jamal Murray this entire series, completely shut him down. Murray a non-factor. And he came out and he hit a ton of shots. He played a bunch of minutes, 45 minutes for him. He and Jokic, the most minutes played tonight, 43 for Jokic, 45 for Jaden McDaniels, 13 of 25 for Jaden McDaniels. Just a big game, getting to the basket routinely, time in and time again. Minnesota didn't really play all that well. They shot 46%. They scored 110 points. But Denver just 45%. A little bit better from 3-point line, 37% for the Nuggets, better than they've shot all series long, I guess I should say. But really just not enough. 12 points on 4 of 17, just not enough from Jamal Murray. 3 points for Christian Brown, just not enough. 8 points, Spencer Jones in the starting lineup, 8 points from him. You get 13 points from Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench, but that was pretty much it. Tyus Jones, 4 points. Bruce Brown, 1 point. Jonas Valanciunas, 2 points. So, I mean, this is just the way it always seems to go for the Denver Nuggets, Gary.
Tyus Jones, if I remember correctly, if you look at the stat line, he's the only one that had a +5. What did I say? When they started him in the fourth quarter, Denver went on a 13-9 run. As soon as they put Murray back in, they got dominated. And let me say this. Anthony Edwards obviously was the best player that was not in this series, but this is what's funny. Edwards is not really long. he's not really lengthy. So neither's Dante DiVincenzo. But Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon are. So even though, yes, Anthony Edwards is the better player, when Edwards is in there, that's a shorter defender they have to contend with, even though he's a much better scorer. So when him and DiVincenzo went out, Minnesota got longer. And when Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson didn't play, Denver had no length. They just could not match up.
Well, it's not really even about the length necessarily. I mean, it is the length, but it's a coupling of no length, no athleticism. Like there's no athleticism on the Denver Nuggets. There hasn't been for years. Like Aaron Gordon is pretty much the only athlete, like contributing player athlete that they have. And then this year, Peyton Watson really did emerge as a very long and decent defender and an athletic player, a difference maker for them. So without either one of them, there was just a startling and massive athletic discrepancy. Christian Braun is athletic, but he's just a complete scrub. He can't make any shots at all. He's just left wide open. He's too tentative. He won't shoot. He dribbles himself into trouble. He's terrible. Christian Braun, that is one of the worst contracts. The Denver Nuggets seem to always have like multiple of the worst contracts in the NBA on their books. It's just unbelievable. Like they finally get MPJ off the books. They're still struggling under the weight of that putrid Jamal Murray contract. And somehow they got another one now in Christian Braun. He's just pathetic contracts. And again, Aaron Gordon, look, you can say he makes them different, but he's never available. He's never going to be available. He's just never going to be able to traverse an 82-game regular season into the postseason and be consistent or available and reliable at that point. Like, it's just never going to happen. So waiting for that or hoping for that or keeping this team as it's currently constituted and going into next year, it's not a viable game plan for this team. They've got a lot of stuff to do in the offseason now. And honestly, it's an exciting time now in Denver, I think. It is a good, I will maintain it's a good thing. They were never going to sniff a championship this year in light of the Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson injuries and the way Jamal Murray just is a complete and utter vanishing act every single year in the playoffs. It's time now. Like there's no illusions now. There's no mystery around it. There's no, oh, they played the Thunder really hard despite all the injuries. Oh, they took the Spurs this year 7 despite all the no, we've seen it. The curtain has been pulled. We've seen the strings. There is no mystique or mystery anymore. This team, as I've been saying for 3 years, sucks. And it's time that the front office identifies that. They look in the mirror and just call everybody in the NBA and say, yo, do you want Jamal Murray? Like, what will you give me? Like Jamal Murray, or just say Jamal Murray's on the block. Like he's out, he's gone. Like we're taking the best offer we can get for him. Same with Aaron Gordon. I literally put the whole team up. I would put, again, I think Nikola Jokic should be traded. I'm not saying that because it's best for Nikola Jokic. It is best for him, but it's best for the organization as well. So like it's just a win-win for both entities. I don't know why they wouldn't at least entertain it. He's 31 years old. He'll be 32 in February. Like he's got 2-3 more good years if he doesn't completely break down after playing too many minutes and stuff in the regular season and the playoffs, which is what we saw basically every season. And again, he just completely out of gas by the end. People say, well, he has to get better conditioned. The guy plays a ton of minutes. He plays a ton of games. He missed 16 games this year because of that knee injury. He played every game before it, and he played every game after it. And he plays like extreme minutes in terms of per game minutes. So, I mean, yes, he could be in better shape, but he's already playing. He's playing so many more minutes and asked to do so many more things throughout those minutes than really any other player in the NBA. So, I mean, it's just time. It's time. It's run its course. Like, it's been 11 years. It's a cheap, small franchise organization in a small market, I should say, run by a cheap ownership group with poor front office management. You just got to say, hey, look, we got the one championship we got. Like, that's the best it's going to get. We're never going to sniff another one. Let's maximize Jokic and get the return needed to start the next wave of things for the next like 10 to 12 years. And let's let Nikola Jokic, let's parole him out of this shit show and let him end his last 2 to 3 years of peak in some graceful way of competing. And again, that doesn't look like going to a super team, because there are levels to this. Like LeBron James leaving Cleveland after 7 years, no shame in that. The shame is in how he left and where he went to. So I don't think anyone would begrudge LeBron leaving Cleveland. I just didn't want him to go to the best team in the best players team in the Eastern Conference other than him, who just won an NBA championship like 2 or 3 years earlier and an NBA Finals MVP. Oh, and by the way, recruiting a top 15 player to come along as well. So I think it's time for both player and franchise to realize that they're at the end of things now at this point. Go ahead, Gary.
I actually do begrudge him for leaving Cleveland after 7 years, because he was their nucleus centerpiece. Everything was revolved around him, and they had the best record in the regular season for 2 straight years. They were in forward progress, and then he abandoned in the middle of it. They were one piece away from turning that Cavs team into the next dynasty. They were close. Like, if Chris Bosh had left Toronto and went to Cleveland, I don't think people would have thought, oh, LeBron cheated because, Chris Bosh had to leave. Well, Chris Bosh left Toronto. They made the playoffs one time in 7 years. That would have been no surprise at all. So I think had he just maneuvered getting another piece there, the way Kobe got Gasol there, because the Lakers would not have won a championship without Gasol or getting one more piece. That's what the Cavs, they were one piece away. The difference is Kobe stayed with it and got the one piece. Then they won 2 or 3 championships. LeBron instead jumped ship in the middle of forward progress, went to your point, to one of the better teams with one of the top 5 players in the league. Whereas I do begrudge him for leaving, because he should have stayed the course and they just got one more piece like the Lakers did with Pau Gasol.
I think that LeBron wasn't going to win a championship in Cleveland. I think you could maybe criticize him that he only stayed 7 years. Like Kevin Garnett, I think, was 11 years in Minnesota. Jokic is now 11 years. I don't know. KD, I think, was 9 years, I want to say, in Oklahoma City. But KD had enough help in Oklahoma City. I think KD's the one that you criticize for leaving, if you're going to criticize one of these star players for leaving. But Cleveland, I criticize LeBron a lot. Cleveland is a small market, a poorly run franchise by and large, and no players want to go there. You say get Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was never going to go there. He's on the record as saying LeBron was recruiting him and it wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to Cleveland. So it's a hard sell to get players to go to Cleveland, because Cleveland is a crappy city to live in that nobody wants to go to. Believe me, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know a lot about Cleveland, but I have never begrudged LeBron for leaving. Maybe you could say 7 years is a little premature. Like, you owe the team that drafted you and brought you into the league, you owe them more than 7 years. I'm fine with that. But I don't mind him leaving. I mind him going. Like, he should have been like, yo, Bosh, you don't want to come to Cleveland? Cool. Where can you and I go and build a team? Just me and you. And then Dwayne can have whatever. He can get one player, and then you just go at each other. To bring all 3 of them together was utterly gutless and pathetic. And, same as he did in Cleveland when he went back with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Like, super teams. Kevin Durant then answered the super team building of LeBron with an even bigger super team build out when he went to Golden State. Super teams. I don't want Jokic to do that. I just want him to get the hell out of Denver because the team sucks. The organization sucks. And it's time that he realizes that he realizes how far away they are. Because again, if he's not 26, 13, 9.5 this series, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 9.5 assists on 45% shooting, good enough to get 2 games against a depleted Minnesota Timberwolves team. If he's not 30, 15, and 12 on 60%, they got no shot. And you can't do that 4 times out of 7 for 4 straight games. You can't do that 16 games in a playoff run against elite defensive teams. Like Minnesota, led by Rudy Gobert, 4-time defensive player of the year, elite defensive team. San Antonio, second net rated defense this year, led by unanimous defensive player of the year, Victor Wembanyama, elite defensive team. Oklahoma City Thunder, the 2 best net rated defensive bigs other than Victor Wembanyama on earth in Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, and all of the perimeter defensive players that they throw out at you. Elite defensive team. Like you just can't be like, yo, yeah, we need 30, 16, and 12 on 60% from you for 16 freaking times against those teams in like a 7-week span to win. That ain't a model for success, okay? He, to me, is still the best player on the planet. But I think that title is now, for the first time in 6 years, it could be up for grabs, I think. I think if whatever SGA does the rest of the way and whatever Victor Wembanyama does the rest of the way, I think that those two will be competing for that title now. I don't think the way the series was going after game 1, I thought Jokic was really in flame out mode, but he turned it around in games 5 and 6. And he really did just expose his own lineup, which is what he has been doing all along in the postseason, basically. So I don't think it's not like he humiliated himself or whatever in this series, but I do believe that there's enough slippage because look, he quite frankly typically does just get you 30, 16, and 12 on 60% every time. So the fact that it's just 26, 13, and 10 on 45%, like there's enough slippage that I think that you can make the case that he's going to drop down to 2 or 3 maybe by the end of this postseason. But look, again, I think it's time that they need to move on and just blow this whole thing up in Denver. And we'll see. There's going to be a very interesting summer. I hope that they either make a whole lot of changes or Nikola Jokic doesn't sign any kind of an extension, but we'll see the way that goes. We're approaching the 50-minute mark right now here at 1:13 a.m. We've got 25 super chats lined up right now. Still 760 people in here in the chat. Guys, thank you all for being here. As always, the water is warm here in the Skap Live After Dark session here. So thank you all for being here. Thank you guys for the super chats. We're going to get into some of these super chats now and see which direction we go. Of course, I love the Human Fund CEO. Shout out to you. An obvious Seinfeld reference. Love it. Love to see it. Gary, what is the Human Fund question or comment for us tonight?
Sorry, Skap. Sorry, Garrett. Jokic teammates disappeared.
Same as it's always been. He did get a big performance from Cam Johnson, who I think is a really good player and a really good fit there beside Jokic. 27 points for him. He showed up. He did his job tonight. Other than that, it was Jokic and nothing else. Just better Minnesota with better contributions, better players, better team, even without the 3 players that they were without tonight. Jamal Murray and Christian Brown, specifically small and pathetic and embarrassing that they were making $71 million next year combined. Tonight, 15 points total for Murray and Brown. 15 points for the backcourt of the Denver Nuggets, the starting backcourt. 5 of 21 shooting, minus 18 for for Jamal Murray, -9 for Christian Braun. The whole team basically in minus, other than Tyus Jones, who played only 12 minutes tonight. But yeah, same as it's always been, Human Fund. Next thing we've got at GGT9993. What's up? Welcome into you. And Gary, what's the question or comment here?
Trade scrub ass Murray for PJ, Clay, and Najee. Mavs.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be people would want Jamal Murray. Like, look, if Jamal Murray is your third best player, you've got something. But he's not. He's just not a second best player on a championship team. I've been saying this for several years. He finally made an all-star appearance. For the first time, I think he was in his 9th year this season. So for the first time in 9 years, he finally made an all-star appearance. And he's just been terrible in the playoffs. For 3 straight years, terrible. So I would put Jamal Murray on the block. I would make it known. And I don't care if he knows it, obviously. I would make it known. And essentially, I would just be like, you're gone. You're not going to be on the team next year. Like, we'll take whatever we can get for you. Like, you're not. I want you to hear it first. Like, I would call him into the office and be like, Jamal, we're not going around your back. We're not testing the waters. And then we're not going to try to say we weren't shopping you afterwards if we don't get what we want. You're gone. Like, whatever we can get, we'll take at this point for you. And you played your last game here. So I think there will be interest in him. And if you can get like 2 guys that score 10 points per game, but play defense and are athletic, like, I would take that for Jamal Murray. Next in, we've got John Highfill 1909. John, what's up? John boy, welcome to the party, pal. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us in this Skap Live After Dark sesh in this sponsor area. I do appreciate you, Gary. What's the question from John?
Hey, Nicola did his job. Jamal was zero help. He was up -18 tonight, the biggest deficit out of everyone on the entire roster.
Yeah, just more so like the shot making was just never there from Jamal Murray. I mean, yes, the defense is much better on him this series than he's used to seeing for the majority of this regular season, but he still had a lot of good looks throughout this series and a lot of good looks tonight. There was a couple moments like in the fourth quarter. Denver had been on a run. They looked like they were going to take over. They just couldn't get over the gap. One of the big moments was like there was 6 minutes left. Jokic came down the court with the ball, fed it to Murray, who had a wide open look for a really good look from 3. If he hit it, it would have been a tie game. He missed it. It went down the other end, and Minnesota hit a 3, and it went from it could have been tied. It was then 6. Like it was just one of those kind of nights, and it was because Jamal Murray just never could make any shots. He just could not get going. He shot 17 times tonight, 17. Which was more than anybody. Jokic shot 19 times, but Jokic scored 28. Murray scored only 12. So he just couldn't, like, it was just terrible defense by him. He was getting obliterated on the perimeter all night and not making any shots at the other end. So, I mean, yes, it was. Look, Nikola Jokic was really, really bad in games 2, 3, and 4. They lost all those games. He was really good in games 1, 5, and 6. They won 2 of them, and they couldn't win this one because his team stinks, and Jamal Murray is garbage. So, yes, John, I am with you on that. We've got SCC 30 in now. What's up? Thank you, my friend. Welcome to the party here. Gary, what's the question or comment?
Celtics incoming game 7, in my opinion, and Lakers in 6.
You know, it's tough to read both of those series. I want to say the Celtics still get it done in 7 at home, but I have no confidence in that pick. And I want to say the Lakers lose tomorrow to blow their 3rd consecutive game and then win in game 7 to still hold on and take the series. I want to say that's what's going to happen in both of those series. But again, I have absolutely no confidence in those picks, SEC. But thank you for coming in here and supporting us. We've got John back in. We just heard from John. What's up, John? Thank you for the very generous donation here and a second donation now of the night here in the last couple. I appreciate you. Gary, what is the question or comment from John this time?
The Wolves got saved by their bench in this series. The Nuggets got sold by their starting point guard and power forward. Jamon Gordon, no help to Jokic whatsoever. Dosunmu and Shannon Jr. were crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like the two best players on the Nuggets other than Nikola Jokic. See, I mean, like, this is kind of what, I mean, this is like this is what we're always talking about. Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon are not necessarily decorated players. See, the guys that Nikola Jokic is ultimately going to be compared to in this era, like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, like those guys play with perennial all-stars and Hall of Famers every year for like a decade stretch during their primes. Like Aaron Gordon's never made an all-star appearance. Jamal Murray's never made an all-star appearance until this year. Like that's why those guys are routinely dogs in the postseason. And it's not fair maybe to say Aaron Gordon's a dog because when he's actually available, he typically plays big in the playoffs, but he's never available. So like in this series, going into tonight, like Jamal Murray was shooting 37% from the field. Like that's his second best player. And then tonight in a closeout, 12 points on 4 of 17 shooting. And you look at Aaron Gordon, who played in only 3 of the 6 games, 11 points on 40% shooting. Like those are his two best players. Like that's the whole story of the Nikola Jokic era in Denver. He just doesn't have enough help. You see, you hear that as a routine narrative and crutch for LeBron James, as LeBron James is playing with Hall of Fame guys year in and year out. And Nikola Jokic, though, realistically just never has had enough help. He has stolen 1 ring, but that's all he's ever going to sniff in Denver. So I think it's time to go. And yeah, on the other end, again, Minnesota, just better. Even without the players they lost, just better. Like 18 from Randall, 32 from McDaniel, 10 from Gobert, 24 from Terrence Shannon. Just crazy performances from these guys. And 15 from, of course, Naz Reid, who's one of the best bench players in the NBA. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, John. It's just the same as it always is every single season for them. Will N 8664, a regular, welcome in. Will N, appreciate having you as always. Gary, what's the question or comment from Will?
I think he may be correct here. Somebody from the Hawks apparently owed OG some money.
Yeah, he had a crazy game tonight. Anunoby did 29 points on 27 minutes. This is just an insane. These plus minuses are ludicrous when you look at them for the starters. Like Anunoby with 29 points in 27 minutes on 11 of 14 from the field, plus 42, a game high plus 42 for OG Anunoby in 27 minutes. The rest of the starters, insane plus minuses. Karl Anthony Towns plus 35, Josh Hart plus 35, Mikal Bridges plus 40, Jalen Brunson plus 41. Just ridiculous numbers for the New York Knicks, Will. Just crazy. And Anunoby, yeah, was massive. The Knicks look good. I don't know what happens in the next round, who they get, whatever. We'll see if it's Boston, if they show up or not. But, we'll see. It'll be interesting. We've got Jamos maybe in next. What's up, Jamos? Welcome in. Gary, what's the question or comment from Jamos? Jamos, thank you for being here.
I think it's Jamos.
Jamos? Okay.
I think. Let us know in the chat, Jamos. Jokic haters / LeBron fans creating their own happiness in the live chat.
Yeah, we've got a lot of activity tonight. Still 730 people strong out there. An hour in now we've been on, and still, yes, it is a spirited discussion going on in the live. Again, there's no comparison, no contrast. Nikola Jokic is a much bigger postseason performer than LeBron James. Like, I don't care what the series wins are, what the series or what the win-loss records are. Nikola Jokic has a championship with his bum, small market franchise with terrible team building and roster building around him. He did that. He won one. LeBron never did. He couldn't. He left. He jumped ship. He bailed. He built super teams to steal his rings. He had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade for 4 years. Then he went and had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love for 3 years. Then he went and had Anthony Davis for whatever, like 5 years. That's a decade of like either a top 5 player on his team or 2 perennial all-stars or both. Like Nikola Jokic has played with 1 all-star in his entire career. So it's not close. Like if you give Nikola Jokic the replacement level players that LeBron James has had, he would have more than 4 championships. So Nikola Jokic did something LeBron James could never dream of doing when he won a championship with the Denver Nuggets. So it's just not a comp between them. Jokic is better at everything than LeBron James. I would give LeBron James the check mark on defense for LeBron's prime, which lasted really only 6 years when he was a difference maker on defense. Definitely the check mark. LeBron was an elite defender for 6 years, but Jokic is a far better scorer at every level than LeBron. He's a better playmaker, a better rebounder. He does everything better. And the only thing he doesn't do is he's not a coward and he doesn't build super teams better than LeBron, which is why he's probably going to end with 1 championship and LeBron will end with 4. Next in, we've got Wabajax. I believe I'm saying that right. What's up, Wabajax? Welcome in. Thank you for your kind donation here for us. We appreciate it as always. Thank you for being here and for the question or comment. What is it? The question or comment that is, Gary?
Whenever I see Jamal move around the court, he always looks like he's pussyfooting around and waits for his defender to catch up instead of being decisive. No sense of urgency. Scrub mentality.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been saying it for 3 years. The guy has been an absolute dog, a loser, a choke artist in the postseason for 3 years. People think I'm a hater or whatever. They call to his regular season this year and say, "Oh, Jamal Murray, elite, all NBA." But what's he do in the playoffs? Every year. He's always underperforming in the postseason every single year. It's not Nikola Jokic that shows up small in the playoffs. It's this guy. It's Jamal Murray. And it's time to realize $50 million a year for like the next 4 years now for him ain't going to get it done. They got to trade this guy. And look, he gets hot. He makes shots sometimes. When he's hot and he's shooting well, he's a very intriguing player and he's a very good player. But like that it just hasn't been the reality for him for 3 straight postseasons. He's had 2 good playoff runs in the bubble. Then he tore his ACL and missed 2 straight postseasons. Then he came back and played a masterful 2023 postseason run. And then he been terrible ever since. So it's time to blow it up. It's time to make big changes. They cannot win. They can't. Look, again, the Timberwolves are going to get dusted out of the playoffs by the Spurs, who are then probably going to lose to Oklahoma City in a tight, like 7-game series, probably. Maybe they will beat Oklahoma City. Who knows? But when you're not even 1 layer removed from the title, like at least last year, you could say you took the team that won the title 7. But when you're not even 1 layer, when you're not even losing to the eventual champion, like you're not close at all. So like, what are we talking about? These guys are 30, 31. Like if it's not going to get closer moving forward. These other teams are just going to get better. The Spurs are going to get much better now moving forward. So it's like, what are you doing to answer it? Obviously, what you should be doing is trading the whole team away. Next thing, we've got Praise the Dawn. What's up? Gary, I'll just take this one from Praise the Dawn. It's just a quick one, and I just want to hear the words come out of my lips, move out of my mouth. Jamal Murray is a disgrace. Praise the Dawn. Why stop there? He's a bum. Jamal Murray is a scrub, a bum, and a loser. Why stop with a disgrace? This guy sucks. He is literally, I hope Jamal Murray shows up to the facility with a ski mask on and a weapon to collect his paychecks for the playoffs because he doesn't deserve it. He should have to be forced to steal it. Go ahead, Gary.
I just want to say I've argued with you all last season on here. And at that time, I wasn't 100% wrong. I am now. I'm wrong. So go ahead and vent your frustration to me, who argued with you and defended Murray for the long. I can't do it anymore. I'm done with Murray. He sucks. Trade him. It's not just that he was outmatched. It's that when he was outmatched, he still ran around and forced shots instead of facilitating the ball, which is what a point guard is supposed to do. You don't keep shooting if you've got a guy who is killing you on defense. That's my big problem. It's not just that he missed shots. It's that he has a ball hogs mentality. So go ahead, Skap, and take your frustration out on me. I will deal with your wrath.
Well, Gary, look, I'm a very forgiving guy. I mean, yes, we have gone back and forth. You have defended Jamal over and over again incorrectly with me. You were also wrong on tonight's game. We had a disagreement about this whole series. I said that it was over, obviously, when they went down 3-1. Even in light of the injuries, I said it was over. You thought that the Nuggets could come back. You also
no, hold on, rewind. You argued with me vehemently game 2. I told you can't say the series is over. I said over and over. I was 100% wrong in this case. I do stand by you can't know for 100% because it before the outcome, but still you were correct. You could be 99% sure, but because you did say Houston had 0% chance when they were down 3-0, and now you're giving them a smaller chance. So that's all I meant. But nonetheless, you were correct. Even game 2, you called it when I said, well, they're going to split in Denver, then they're going to split in Minnesota, and it's going to be 2-2, and that's what you kept arguing. And they were deflated game 4. Even though they won game 5, they were deflated game 4, not because they lost, but because they looked like total shit. They looked horrific. So to your credit, you called it game 2.
I did, Gary, and I called it every step of the way. In fact, I said after game 2 was over, and then I said basically going into game 3, it was a must win if they didn't want to lose the series because they were going to get blown out in game 4, which they did, even with those injuries that occurred in game 4. I said the series was over after game 2 when they blew a 19-point lead. And it's because, and yes, I still think Houston is going to lose that series. I'll be shocked if the Lakers win because quite frankly, look, and this isn't to call you out or whatever. It's just, I've been watching this stuff for 30 years. Like you can feel a series. I'm not right all the time, but I'm right a lot of the time. Like you can tell a lot. And like early on in the series, like, yes, there's people will make adjustments and they will change game plans, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately in the NBA playoffs, I don't really think it's about adjustments. I think it's about personnel. And like these teams know each other. They've played 40 times in the last like 4 years now. Like they know each other. Like it's not about X's and O's. It's about just matching up and playing. And the Nuggets are just outmatched in this matchup and in this series. And you can feel that out early. People talk about like, I overreact all the time. I'm constantly overreacting to one game early in the series, but I'm not. You can read, you can tell the way it's going to go early on. Like I stand by this. You can pretty much tell at the end of game 1, like most of the time. You basically, the home team to me has to usually win game 1. If you don't, it's a world of trouble moving forward. Game 1s are a tone setter. Now in this series, Denver looked good in game 1, but then they completely imploded in game 2 and threw away a 19-point lead immediately. Like it wasn't just the whole course of the game that it took them to lose that 19-point lead. They were up 19 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. And by halftime, it was tied. And they would have been down 3 at halftime if Jamal Murray didn't make like a 55-foot three-point shot to beat the buzzer. They would have been down by 3 from a 19-point lead with 10 minutes to go in the second to down by 3 with like 4 seconds left in the second quarter. Like I just could feel that the Nuggets just didn't have enough to answer the solutions that Denver had for them and the personnel that they have. Like you can just feel the way series are going to go and feel it out. And games like it's a best of 7. Like one game is a humongous swing in the course of a best of 7 win the first of 4 wins. So I just didn't think they could win this series, and I didn't think they could win it even when the injuries happened because they were down 3-1. And this team is still, they're just better. Their personnel is better. They're more physical. They're a better defensive team. They were going to have a positive variance shooting night at some point if it didn't happen tonight. They got crazy performances tonight, like Jaden McDaniels, 32 points on 13 of 25, and Terrence Shannon, 24 points. And then they got a crazy negative variance game by Jamal Murray, 12 points, 4 of 17. Like, that's what happens. Oh, like, you can't expect you have a positive variance and your opponent has a negative variance game for 3 straight games. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, like, I knew when they were down 3-1, I don't care who got hurt. They weren't going to beat this team 3 times in a row. So, and it would have been even more Nuggets-esque if they won tonight somehow and then lost in game 7 at home. Like, that would have only been the more fitting way for this scrub loser team to go out in this postseason. Anyway, thank you. Praise the dawn. Yes, I agree with you full-heartedly. Next in, we've got Mike Ross, 6767. What's up, Mike? Regular. Welcome in, my friend. Thanks for being here. Looks like another Murray comment here. I love to see it, Gary. Go ahead with this one.
We've got a lot of Murray comments coming up. He's the talk of the town right now, but not in a positive way. Murray only shows up against the Lakers in the playoffs. He might be the most overrated player in the NBA right now. Not just right now, maybe of all time.
I've been saying this for 3 years, and I've been getting crapped on for 3 years. Oh, Skap the hater, Skap the Jokic jock sniffer, Skap, Jamal Murray's this elite all-star, perennial all-star caliber talent that gets cheated every year and doesn't get to make the all-star games, but he's really an all-NBA caliber performer that just never makes all-NBA teams or all-star teams, but he always shows up and plays like an all-star in the playoffs. That's the consensus. That's what I hear every year, year in and year out. And every year, this guy's straight scrub mode in the postseason. Like, every year, it's like clockwork. Jamal Murray, like, goes David Copperfield David Blaine. I'm sorry. He goes like invisible man action in the playoffs, like a magic trick. Poof, Jamal Murray's gone in the postseason. Like, every freaking year, because the guy's not athletic at all. He's crafty. He can get to his spots if he's hot and things are falling for him, but he's just a hot and cold player. Like, if the shot's not falling, he does nothing else for you. He can't get other players really involved. He can't defend. He just can't do anything. Like, if Nikola Jokic isn't destroying his matchup, Jamal Murray is terrible. It's all incumbent on Nikola Jokic to make Jamal Murray look good. Like, Jamal Murray's not doing anything to help Jokic. So when Jokic doesn't destroy his matchup, then Jamal Murray falls off a cliff. And Jokic, he played pretty good in this series, all things considering. I'm sorry, but he did. Like, I don't want to come here and like just look like I'm blindly defending Nikola Jokic. Like, he played well tonight. Like, only Cam Johnson was making shots, and that was it. They were collapsing and funneling everything to Jokic. Rudy Gobert is a really elite defensive player. And yet Jokic, 28, 10, and 9 on 11 of 19. Like, he played a really good game tonight, I thought. And 26, 13, and 10, just about 9.5 for the series. There's not enough around him. But again, same as it's always been. We've got Marco. Go ahead, Gary.
If only LeBron James was the one guarding Jamal Murray full time, then he'd be an all-star all the time.
Next, we've got Marco coming from Serbia. I recognize the RSD, Marco, one of my regs, of course, from Serbia. Shout out to you, my brother. Condolences to you, obviously, tonight. Tough night for all of us Nikola Jokic fans. Gary, I hope Marco is also here to pile on Jamal Murray.
Murray proved he's a fraud. I've been saying that since his rookie season. If Jokic doesn't get a true all-star player or several solid pieces around him, he'll never win a ring again. Take care, Skap and Gary. And that's what I think. I don't think they should trade Jokic. I think they need to trade a bunch of other pieces and get a bunch of pieces around, because if they just blow it up, who the heck knows if they'll ever get another player like him. So if they can blow up the role players, I like Marco is saying, that's what I think they should do.
I had a suggestion last summer, which I thought made sense for everybody involved. Alfred Şengün, codename Baby Jokic, which I don't know if you saw, but it was pretty hilarious. I forget which player. I don't know. Luka Doncic, I can't remember now, but he was saying baby somebody else that was like a scrub player, calling him baby, calling Şengün baby, some other player other than Jokic from the bench yesterday. It was hilarious. But sorry, I digress. Alfred Şengün, codename Baby Jokic. You would have needed to throw in another salary to match, but Alfred Şengün, a throw-in salary, and like 4 to 5 first-round picks for Jokic. And you dump Jokic on the Rockets with that. And this is before they went out and got Kevin Durant, obviously. But to me, that would have been, I mean, technically, no, because they did offload picks for Durant. So you can't make it happen anymore. But that to me would have been a win-win for both organizations. They get a young 22-year-old Şengün, who was an all-star last year. Looked like he was going to be all-NBA this year. He wasn't, but he had a good year this year, and he's playing really well in the playoffs now since they went down 0-3. And he's still only like 22 or 23 years old. So I think that would have been a win-win for both, plus the draft collateral that Denver would be getting back, because Denver doesn't really even control a lot of their first-round picks. So like they can't make trades really unless they're offloading guys that are on the books. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answers are, but I know big changes need to be in the works for this summer. The Denver front office, who typically sits back and does nothing, they traded for Cam Johnson. They traded Michael Porter Jr. away last year. I think you trade Jamal Murray at the least and try to get rid of Aaron Gordon too if you can. Like those two, basically, no one's going to touch Christian Brown's contract. But look, you re-sign Peyton Watson, then you've got a lineup with Cam Johnson, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Nikola Jokic, and I would go get like a big, get a big that is like a rim protector and like a shot blocker, and just run that lineup. Basically, run Jokic at point forward and have a rim protecting big, and then those 3 athletic guys flanking him, and just hopefully you can get some 3-and-D bench pieces from Murray and Aaron Gordon. And I think that's a really good looking team to me. But that's not my decision to make. Denver, Kroenke family, give me a call. Do you want me to come in and be the general manager? Because I could turn this thing around quickly. Next thing we've got Isaac LYK. And what's up, Isaac? Gary, go ahead with this question or comment from Isaac.
As a Nuggets fan, I feel betrayed. Trade Jamal Murray, please.
You know, it's cathartic to see everyone finally joining my side. Finally. Even you, Gary. Everybody, again, has been attacking me and criticizing me for 3 years for calling Jamal Murray out for being the fraud that he is. And now finally everybody sees it the way that I've been seeing it for 3 years. Finally. So welcome to the party, Isaac, Gary, and the rest of you. Thank you for joining me here. Again, there's plenty of room. I'm not going to be an I told you so kind of guy. I'm forgiving. I'm welcoming. Join me, if you will, here on the Hate Jamal Murray bus. There's plenty of seats available. We'll extend it. We'll get more buses if we need to. We'll link more cars on the train and get Jamal Murray traded, hopefully, this summer. Next in, who could it be 88? What's up? Who could it be? Welcome into you. I see. I'm not sure. Gary is trying to show me something. Gary, why don't you just go ahead and read this who could it be 88, and I'll see what you're trying. Oh, you looks like you didn't send me it.
I was just saying, yeah, you are. I told you so because I've got it right here on a text. This series is over, and I told you so. LOL. Yeah. So, all right.
I did though, Gary, tell you so after game 2. I did.
No, you did. But last year I told you so that they were going to beat the Clippers in game 7. And then your response was, well, they didn't win the championship. I said, I didn't say they're going to win the championship. I said they're going to beat the Clippers in game 7. So, but ultimately, that doesn't matter. The biggest thing is Jamal Murray, as everyone is seeing now. Hey, you know, when they lost Porter, they missed him tonight because he actually did have some length, right? Wouldn't he have done a little better against McDaniels?
But they traded him for Cam Johnson, who also has length. And to me, Cam Johnson was bigger tonight in this playoff game than I ever saw Michael Porter Jr. be in the last 3 years in an impactful game. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. has had moments in the last 3 years, but never in a do or die, got to have a game. He's always a bum. He always comes up small. And Cam Johnson came up tonight. Great performance by him. He doesn't wear any of this shame tonight. Just everybody else, other than Jokic, I think, tonight.
All right, so who could it be? 88 says. Now, wait, is that a Seinfeld reference? Let me know in the chat there. Who could it be? 88. That Christian Braun contract is an abomination against God. So we're bringing religion into it now.
Now, that would be a very obscure Seinfeld reference indeed, if that was who could it be, where George has the believe it or not, George is not at home now, when he has that as that little jingle as his answer machine message. That would be a very obscure. I'd be very surprised if that is actually a reference to Seinfeld. But shout out to you, who could it be? Because, yes, the Christian Braun contract, it's just unbelievable. Let me just do the quick math here. Christian Braun this series has scored 47 points coming into the game tonight. So that makes it, he scored 3 tonight. So that would be 50 points in 6 games, 8 points. 8 points per game in a 6-game series for a cat that's due 125. You got to be kidding me, right? Like, that's a joke, right? He's completely healthy. 125 mil for 8 points per game. It's just unreal how adept and skillful this organization is at accruing these preposterous contracts. Just crazy. Oh, good. Brikola Jokic is in. I can't believe it's taken this long. Let me see if there's any more from Brikola. I can't believe it. That looks like it from Brikola. So I guess go ahead, Gary, with Brikola's one and only tonight.
This was beautiful. Gobert owns Jokic. Nuggets lose.
I guess so. Yeah, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 9.5 assists per game. Definitely an own job, Brikola. I guess I can't argue that. 26, 13, and 9.5. Jokic on the season. I mean, yes, for sure. He's down. He's down in terms of his shooting percentage for sure. On the year, 27 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 10.5 assists. So, and for this series, 26 points per game, 13 rebounds, 9.5 assists on 45%. Now he's down. He is down 10% on his shooting percentage, which is a big story for sure. But still, 45%. Like, it's not like he's Jamal Murray out there shooting 35%. So he's down a point per game from the regular season, and 1 assist per game from the regular season. But yeah, sure, totally. Averaging basically a 26-point triple-double. I mean, that just shows how great Nikola Jokic is, I suppose. Next in, Xavier DeGod. What's up, Xavier? Welcome into you. Thanks for joining us here. We're working through these super chats, guys. We're about an hour and a half in. It's almost 2 a.m. I got a lot to go, actually. So, but we're going to make it through all of these 40 super chats right now at this point. Still 630 people here in the chat. Welcome to you guys. Thanks for being here. As always, Gary, what does Xavier have? I'm sure he's got a plethora of super chats to follow as well.
Skap, if Kobe Bryant and KG had teamed up instead of KG going to Boston and the Lakers getting Pau Gasol, does Kobe and Garnett three-peat?
For sure. For sure. I mean, it takes away KG from Boston, who beat Kobe in the first. He went to 3 straight, lost to the Celtics because, in large part, due to KG. And KG is an exponentially better player than Pau Gasol on both sides of the court. And I love Pau Gasol. No disrespect. But Pau Gasol isn't a top 75 all-time NBA player. KG is a top 30 all-time NBA player. Maybe higher than that. So absolutely, Kobe would have three-peated if it was Kevin Garnett instead of Pau Gasol. Like, there's no doubt about that, Xavier. Let's keep Xavier moving along, though, here, because we got Xavier back to back. What do we got here this time from Xavier, Gary?
I called it. KD ain't doing shit with the Rockets.
Well, literally, he's not doing anything. He's not even playing. Game 6 tomorrow, and he's inactive again tomorrow. So he will play 1 of 6 games into tomorrow, and then we'll see if they win and push it to a game 7 in crypto.com arena on Sunday. We'll see if he can suit up there. I doubt it. So that would be, he'll play 1 of 7 games. So yeah, not only is KD not doing shit, he's not even on the floor, Xavier. So you did call it. We've got Vivid Sid 94. I think I got that right. Vivid Sid 94. What's up? Thank you very much. Welcome in, Gary. What is the question or comment from Vivid Sid?
Shout out real quick to the chat. Someone said, wouldn't KG and Pau Gasol been there together? No, if that had taken place, that would have been before Pau Gasol got there, and it would not have got him if they had landed Garnett. So no, it wouldn't have been all 3 of them. Just shout out to the chat. All right, he says, well, this isn't a loaded question here. Hi, where do you have Jokic all time? Be precise. That's an easy one.
You know, I have to think about it, Vivid. I can't be that precise. He's top 15. I could tell you that. He's certainly not top 10 at this point. You know, I got like Steph Curry probably around 12 or 13-ish. I'd say he's right lurking around Steph Curry, maybe like a spot or 2 behind Curry. So I would say he's like top 15 right now is where I would say that he's at. I can't be like absolute with my spot, or I can't be completely precise because I have to look at it. I know I can tell you he's not top 10, and I can tell you he's not out of the top 15. So he's somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. I would not put him above, like at this point, I think he will be above Shaq when it's all said and done. I don't have him above Shaq right now. So I have Shaq in that range of like 10 to 15. Like Shaq's not my top 10. So he's like 11 through 15, basically is what I'm saying. And Steph Curry is as well. So somewhere in that mix, in that tier, like he's above Dirk to me at this point. Dirk's in that top 20, but not top 15. So somewhere in that span. And we'll see what he does from here. Go ahead, Gary.
Real quick, another shout out to the chat. Guys, keep it in the spirit of competition, spirit of fun. No hurling personal insults, and keep the language fairly clean as well, as I've had to kick a few people who are using like really nasty language and just saying things that are just out of bounds. Just keep it. If you want to poke fun of me or Skap getting something wrong about the Nuggets or whatever, that's fine. Just keep it in the spirit of fun, because at the end of the day, this is what this is about. Hey, it's just basketball.
Thank you for that, Gary. And please do not hesitate to pull the trigger on people if they're being disrespectful in some way, Gary. Just drop them, cut them out. That's not what we're about here. I don't really use curse language. I try not to. I'll say things like ass and damn and hell and shit, which is fine. But anything beyond that, I don't like it on my channel or in my comments. Certainly not on live feeds. So yes, Gary, keep an eye and keep doing a good job and cut and bounce people if they're going to do that. I appreciate it. So what does Yvonne have? Another fellow Serbian brother here. I am not quite a Serbian. I'm not from Serbia, but you know, my Serbian people have adopted me and accepted me as an honorary Serbian. So what does Yvonne have for us here on the heels of this very difficult Denver loss tonight?
Denver needs change of culture. They need dogs like Peyton Watson and AG, only healthier, young, athletic, defensive-oriented guys with balls who can shoot decently. And that's what Minnesota has, and that's what I think they should go out and try to get for Murray to surround Jokic with moving forward.
Yeah, I've been saying it. Like whatever, basically the way Minnesota and Oklahoma City are built is the way that they should have built around Nikola Jokic. And they didn't. They surrounded him with injury-prone, offensive-minded players that vanish in the postseason or get hurt every year. Like, so that it's just terrible decision-making and team building around him. And it's time. It's got to end. It's got to be over now at this point. He's 31 years old. He's got only a few years left, and it's time. Like, they got to go out and make significant changes. I'm with you, Yvonne. And yes, I'm with you with the kind of players that they need. They do need a culture change 100%. And I think they should throw the bag at Peyton Watson, because I think his injury this year is not an Aaron Gordon injury. I think it's an outlier. I think he'll be healthy moving forward. And I would give him whatever amount of money it takes to re-up him again. I want Cam Johnson re-upped. I want Peyton Watson. I would love to get rid of Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray. They're not going to be able to get rid of Christian Brown. So, but I think that Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray have enough value that they could get rid of those guys. All right, Xavier's back in. What's up, Xavier? Let's hear another one from Xavier now, Gary.
I hope the Spurs win. Anyone but OKC or Boston or the Lakers.
I mean, yeah, you sound like me, Xavier. I basically go in every year saying, like, not the teams I want to see win, but the teams I don't want to see win. So I would like to see the Spurs. I like the Spurs a lot. I like Wembanyama a lot. I think we're at the beginning of something special with him. But look, if Oklahoma City earns it this year, if they play the right way, if they go and buzzsaw all of these teams they should, and then go right through San Antonio, which is a bad matchup for them, and then they beat whatever comes out of the East, like, you just got to tip your hat to Oklahoma City and the way that team is constructed and everything that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done and has meant to them so far to this point. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see the way it goes. I think Oklahoma City and San Antonio, the winner of that series in the Western Conference Finals, is going to win the NBA championship. Ruthless Raider 78 has been here the last couple shows. I appreciate you being here again, Ruthless Raider, in the sponsor area. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and see what the question or comment is from Ruthless Raider, Gary.
I took a LeBron, and now I'm ready for playoffs talk.
I love it. I love that that adjective that you, or the synonym or whatever that you keep trying to build or create with LeBron and a Dookie. I like it, Ruthless Raider. Keep trying to squeeze those in, or squeeze those out, I guess I should say, moving forward. Go ahead, Gary.
I think tonight you should say, I took a Jamal Murray, and now I'm ready.
Totally fair. Jamal Murray, maybe we could make Jamal Murray like like he could be like a synonym for trash can. So I threw away that piece of that parcel of garbage in the Jamal Murray. That's what I would probably push for on his end.
Or if you vomit, oh man, I got sick and I just Jamal Murray'd all over the place.
Also fair. All right, we've got Mel Raynon Mel Raynon, I believe, 4833. And Mel, what's up? Welcome in. Gary, let's get the question or comment from Mel.
Hey, Skap, you always keep poo-pooing the 22 champs. How about the 23 champs when they played 3 play-in teams?
Yeah, that Steph Curry ring is a joke. It's lucky as hell. All the guys they played, there's either got hurt or their teams were hurt. Like they went through Jokic without Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray. They then went through the Grizzlies, who were kicking their ass when John Morant was available, but he played only 3 games. Then they played a young and ill-prepared Dallas Mavericks team it was just a joke that they were there. And then they were down 2-1 to the Boston Celtics, the Celtics are one of the biggest choking teams of this century. This Boston team. Boston was up 2-1 and they completely fell apart. And Steph needed Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and All-Star Andrew Wiggins that year. Andrew Wiggins made 1 All-Star appearance. It was that season. So Jamal Murray I have Jamal Murray on my mind. Steph Curry with 2 Hall of Fame guys on that team in their prime and another All-Star that year in Andrew Wiggins to win that 22 ring. Everyone talks about the 23 ring and the run by Jokic. He had garbage on that team, though. Again, he had Jamal Murray as his best player, a never-time All-Star until this year, as his best player to win that championship. And everyone talks about the records that he played, the records of the teams that he played. No argument on their Eastern Conference opponent in the NBA Finals. The Heat, not a good Finals opponent. But here's the thing. They beat the Bucks because Giannis hurt his back, and then they beat the Celtics, which would have been a great matchup, I think, in the Finals if it was Boston and Denver, which is the team that, lost the 2022 championship the year before to Steph Curry. But they choked to Curry and they choked to the Heat before they could even get to Jokic the next year. So they get an easy opponent in the Heat in the finals. But to get to the finals, everyone talks about the records. They played and beat the Timberwolves. So this Timberwolves team that has owned them since, they beat them. They then beat in the second round a healthy Kevin Durant and a healthy Devin Booker Phoenix Suns team, which was favored in that series. They then beat a healthy LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis in the Western Conference Finals. So you beat Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns in the first round, then Devin Booker and Kevin Durant in the second round, and then LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the Western Conference Finals. That was a tough run. Okay, look at the records if you want. I'm looking at the opposition and the players and the Hall of Famers that they went through to get that ring. They weren't hurt like the players that Steph Curry was lucky enough to run through in 2022. Next in, Xavier DeGod is back in for like a 5th time now. Xavier, welcome back in. Gary, what's the question or comment from Xavier this time?
Remember, LeBron wanted Melo and CP3 on the Heat too. He just couldn't get enough help.
Yeah, but in fairness to LeBron, he didn't want Chris Bosh, Melo, CP3, and Wade. He just wanted Wade, Melo, and CP3. Bosh was just kind of a variant, like a substitute in, because Melo signed his extension prematurely, so they couldn't get Melo. But they did, when they had Bosh and Wade, they did recruit Chris Paul then. The year after they lost to Dallas in the finals in 2011, they were recruiting Chris Paul, and they were kind of in the latter stages of figuring that deal out. And the deal actually fell apart because Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade both wanted to wear number 3, if you can believe that. The fact that neither would relinquish number 3 was one of the principal reasons that trade fell apart. And if you don't believe that, there's a crazy podcast, I think it's Wade's podcast, that Chris Paul is a guest on for like an hour and a half. And the two of them discuss a myriad of topics. But that is one of them. Believe it or not, that trade fell apart because of a number and who was going to get to wear the number, and neither would give up 3. I did a video on it. I think the video is called Mercenary King, actually. if you want to look into it. It's one of my better videos, my finer videos. So I would urge all of you to seek it out. We've got D Giang 1498 in next. Welcome in, D Giang. Thank you very much for being here. Gary, what's the question or comment here from D Giang, a regular?
Do injuries sometimes make teams harder to game plan for? Or if you ran this matchup back 10 times with the same lineups, would you expect the same result?
I think, yes, in a way that happens more so in the regular season. You see that when like 3 or 4 starters sit out in a game, and then yes, you haven't game plan for those specific guys that are filling in. 1 and 2, there's some inherent letdown. Like you think it's going to be an easy night, or it's hard to get up when the other team's without their 2 or 3 best players. I don't think there was any of that at play in these last 2 games. I think Minnesota is just the better team, even with the losses, because look, they lost last game. Denver won last game. The reason I knew they were going to lose tonight is because Denver won last game by 12 in Denver, shooting 57% from the field and getting 25 turnovers from Minnesota. So I knew that Minnesota wasn't going to turn it over 25 times again tonight. And I knew Denver sure as hell wasn't going to shoot 57% from the field again tonight. So I was pretty certain that Minnesota is just better and was going to win tonight no matter what. I think if you played this series from the beginning best of 7, no Gordon, no Watson, no Ant-Man, no Dante, probably the Nuggets win in 7. But they had a 3-1 cushion, basically. A 2-1 cushion when those injuries happened at the midpoint of Game 4. Then they went on and won Game 4, so it became a 3-1 cushion. So I think then it was just too much of an advantage and a cushion for them to have with the more athletic and deeper team, quite frankly. I'll take this next one from Xavier DeGod. Oh, Gary's back. Okay, Xavier DeGod's back in for like the 7th time. Go ahead, Gary, with Xavier's next question or comment.
LeBron promised 8 rings, left Miami after 4 years, LOL.
Very true. Two rings and 4 years, 2 and 2 in the finals. After LeBron said not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. He did say 8. He said not 7. He indicated 8, that they would win 8 championships because he thought he was, the best or second best player in the NBA at that time. Kobe was still in his prime. And then D Wade was the next best player. Like you had Kobe, Wade, and Bron were the 3 best players in the NBA at that point. He joined that and recruited a top 15 player. I understand the confidence, but he obviously delivered in a significant way. So, that is still one of the massive stains on LeBron's legacy, in my estimation. Man, another Xavier DeGod. What's up, Xavier? Welcome back in yet again, Gary. What's this one say from Xavier?
Yeah, he really thought he was just going to bully the league and just mow over everyone. He literally thought that when he went to Miami. So Xavier comes back and says it was supposed to be Melo and Bron and Wade and Bosh.
I don't see any way. I don't see any way that works contractually. Like those are all max players. Obviously, Bosh, Wade, and LeBron took less money, like marginally less. Like they took like $6 or $7 million less a year on like whatever $40 million annual salaries back at the time. They took a little bit less to make that all happen, but I don't think they could have fit all 4 of those guys. And Melo was on the record. LeBron might have wanted it, but Melo went on the record and did an interview in recent, like a year ago, where he said, look, I wanted my money. Like I wasn't going to be doing what those guys were doing and taking less money. Like I wanted every penny at that time in my career that I could get. And furthermore, I thought I was the guy. I wanted to be the number 1. Like I wasn't going to go and sacrifice my game there like Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade had to do. Like that wasn't going to be me. I couldn't fit in there. So maybe LeBron wanted that, but Melo wasn't ever gonna, acquiesce. He wasn't gonna take less money, and he wasn't gonna sacrifice his shots at that point in time in his career. So it goes to show the pathetic mentality that LeBron James has. But thank goodness cooler heads prevail with Carmelo Anthony having a little class and dignity and not wanting any part of that. We've got Praise the Dawn back in now with, I'm not going to disagree with this. Go ahead, Gary. What's Praise the Dawn have for us?
Malcolm Brogdon was better than Jamal Murray.
Facts. Jamal Murray he's just a pitiful playoff performer. The fact that this guy, I think, look, I don't really look at what's going on YouTube. I just don't. I don't care what other people are saying about me or about other things. I don't watch other YouTubers. I'm friends with a few guys, and I know a bunch of guys hate my guts on that platform. Whatever. And I don't watch even the bigger channel, like the Jimmy High Roller guy, who's like probably the biggest sports channel on the platform. He's got like, I don't know, like 3 million subscribers. And he puts out good content. I don't agree with practically anything he does or any of his messaging, but the guy's a good storyteller. He's got great editing. His visuals and charts and diagrams are top notch. I've watched in entirety maybe 1 or 2 of his videos. I've seen pieces of some of the other ones, but I saw one video that he put out a couple months ago, maybe a year ago, maybe more, I don't know, about Jamal Murray being the biggest playoff riser in NBA history. The fact that that guy has somehow got the reputation around the league or from other content creators or people on ESPN or whatever, the fact that there is an overwhelming sentiment, or there was, that Jamal Murray is actually some kind of a playoff riser, let alone just, if he could just stay the same from the regular season, that would be great. The guy is a bum in the postseason. So it's just laughable that he got that reputation somehow. Next in, we've got Carthy, or maybe Carth I 2020 in. Not quite sure how to say that. I'm just going to go with Carth. Thank you, Carth. Appreciate you being here and checking in and your donation. What's the question or comment from Carth?
Clueless David Adelman should be fired before their flight lands in Denver. He should Uber home. Don't even want to talk about Christian Brown. Useless.
I mean, if I was the ownership, but look, the ownership is a major part of the problem, Carth. They're bums. The ownership themselves and the front office, bums everywhere, bums galore in Denver. But if I were the owner, I would just be like, yo, Dave, thanks a lot. We're going to scratch you the check for the remainder of your contract here. Just find your own flight. I wouldn't even let him fly back with the team if it were me calling the shots, Carth. And yeah, Christian Brown, not much you can say about that guy. He's going to be a Nugget for many years to come because nobody wants to sniff that contract. I promise you that. Medved Ted, like that one. Medved Ted, welcome in. Thank you for sponsoring us tonight. I appreciate you very much. Gary, what's the question or comment from Medved Ted?
Blow it up. Trade Jokic and set him free. Best thing Denver can do for itself and Jokic. Send Jokic and AG to the Lakers.
Yeah, from your lips, Medved Ted, to the basketball gods' ears and to the front office management and ownership of the Denver Nuggets. That I echo this sentiment full-heartedly. I agree with it full-heartedly. After they lost game 3, I put out like a 24, 25-minute video basically saying as such because the series was over after game 4 when they went down 3-1. And I speculated that they should do just that. So we'll see if they do, or if they do anything of note, or if they just stay pat. If they do, I'm not signing that extension at all if I'm Nikola Jokic. Giuseppe DeRosa is in. What's up, brother? Welcome into you. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate you very much. Gary, what's the question or comment from Giuseppe?
Don't worry, Skap. Nuggets in 8. No. Thank goodness I don't have to look at this series anymore.
Yeah, Giuseppe. Also, you need to be an even, or you need to be an odd number. You can't be Nuggets in 8 because you could be 4-4. So because the Nuggets or the Timberwolves just won their 4th, which would mean if the Nuggets would win 3 straight, it would be 4-4, and then you would need to play a 9th game. So it would have to be Nuggets in 9. But yeah, I don't see them. They just weren't going to win this series. They just were destined to not win this series from game 2 on. Again, I did call it. I said I'm not an I told you so guy, but I called it after game 2. And yeah, Giuseppe, the Nuggets are done. I think they're, as we know it, this lineup should be finished together. Stanky 2304. What is up? What's the question or comment from Stanky?
Do you think Jokic would leave Denver? Come to Charlotte. Oh, wow. What about that, Scott?
I'd love it. I would love that. I think that'd be a good fit. They got good young pieces, good defensive pieces. They've got good shooters there, athletic players. I like that. I love that. I would love to see Jokic go to Charlotte. Unfortunately, sadly, I do not think that he will leave Denver. I think Denver should, for his own good and theirs, should trade him. But if they don't do that, he will never leave, unfortunately. I think he should. I don't think he will, unfortunately, for Nikola Jokic and his legacy. We've got Chris LM12, or Chris LML12 is next in. Gary, what does Chris have for us tonight?
Murray and Gordon are equivalent to Alfred the Butler. We need to get Michael Caine up in there.
Yeah, not even Robin-esque. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think he's Alfred the Butler. What's like the worst denominator? Well, like, what's the worst contributor that Batman could have? Like, I think Alfred is being too kind and generous, at least to Murray. I think they're worse than Alfred. Gordon doesn't even play, and quite frankly, it'd probably be better if Murray didn't even play either, to be totally honest. Gary, you're right. I think they were better with Tyus Jones tonight on the floor than they were with Jamal Murray, because Tyus Jones at least plays some semblance of perimeter defense. So go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, it's not just that he was missing the shots. Do you agree with me? He messed the rhythm of the offense up when he kept forcing terrible shots instead of facilitating the ball. If he was shooting a low percentage but only shot a few shots and had a lot of passes and attempted assists, I can be okay with that. I hate ball hogs, especially when you mess up the offense. And that's why I thought, leave him on the bench and let Tyus. I know Tyus Jones is not a star. He won a championship at Duke, so he's got championship pedigree at least. At least he's not turning the ball over and forcing things, right?
Yeah, your point guard with 17 shots and 4 makes and only 4 assists. Yeah, there's a problem there, and he is a complete sieve on defense. He gets just smoked by any. People talk about Jokic as a cone or being terrible at defense. Again, the Nuggets are horrendous in their perimeter defense. Like, yes, Jokic is not a good perimeter defender. He is a good on-the-ball defender. He's a good screen and pick and roll defender. He's got active hands. He typically is top of the NBA in deflections and steals. He controls the glass typically and gets rebounds. So he ends possessions. Like, he does quality things on defense, but he is bad at defending the rim. There is no doubt about that. Like, that is not a strength of his. He is not a good rim defender or protector. So you can't have no rim protection at all and horrendous perimeter defense. It's not an equation for success. That was one of the major issues with Denver all year and in this series. Next in, we've got Boogie Fremda or Boogie. I don't know. Boogie FRMDA. I'm just going to go with Boogie. What's up, Boogie or Bougie? Maybe Bougie. Let's go with Bougie. That sounds better. I don't know. Bougie is like the lingo of the hip the hipsters today, I guess. I don't know. Bougie means you're high fancy. You're fancy and high clout, I guess. Bougie sounds better than boogie. I don't know the spelling of bougie, but I'm going to assume that
Boogie from the 4. That's what I'm thinking that means.
Boogie from, is it boogie or bougie?
I think it's Boogie from the 4. Are you in here, Boogie? Let us know. And Mike, by the way, you were correct on the prior one that I thought you were off on. He corrected me and said you were correct. Maybe you're correct here, but I thinking that's abbreviation. Boogie from the 4. Is that correct, Boogie?
And the comment, I'll take this one, Gary. Joker to LA with Luka, no LeBron, maybe Austin Reeves, says that they would be the best passing team of all time. I would love to see Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic play together. It would be so much fun. These two love each other. They love playing with each other on the All-Star weekends. They're obviously big fans of each other's games. They're both from around the same. Look, Luka, I should say Jokic is Serbian. Luka is Slovenian. So Eastern European guys through and through. Great full court games. Both criticized for lack of defense. It would be fun up and down games every night. Two clutch players that could get each other's back. I would love to see it. I don't know. Look, what you got to do, you got to set it up. Jokic has 1 year left on his contract, then a player option, so he can decline that. So Jokic plays next year in Denver. Him and Luka are in, contact, and he says, like, Luka, go to the front office, keep the books clean, get expiring contracts, be ready to have a big opening, like a $50 million opening available in 2027, 2028. And when Jokic comes off the book in Denver, he just becomes an unrestricted free agent and he can sign wherever he wants. And if the Lakers have flexibility in the cap, there's nothing that could stop it. And Jokic at that point would still have a little bit left. He'd be 32 years old. Luka would be like 27, 28. And they have like 3-4 years at a run at it. And you just surround them with athletes and defenders and see what you can do. I'm for it. I like it. I would co-sign that at this point. Giuseppe is back. Giuseppe, I'll just take this one, Gary. I don't like it, Giuseppe. Every time someone wants out of where their current team is, it's always for some reason the Heat. I don't like it. I don't like the fit there for Jokic. I would not. I just said I would like to see him go to LA to play with Luka. I would not like to see him go to the Miami Heat. Though I will say the advantage the Heat has over the Lakers is that they're in the Eastern Conference. The West is just preposterous. If you can get to the East, it's a little bit easier, though the East has a lot of good teams now too. But I would say it's still an easier path to traverse from the East than it is from the West. That's the only advantage I see that the Heat would have over the Lakers as a potential landing spot. Okay, GGT993 is back in, Gary. Go ahead with this one.
04 Lakers deja vu. Inefficient ball hog ruining the offense. Center that don't play defense. And they had no power forward.
I mean, yeah, like Kobe Bryant, an inefficient ball hog running the offense. He went on to go to 3 consecutive NBA championships through the heart of the hardest conference in NBA history, the most difficult playoff runs, collective playoff runs ever faced, with Pau Gasol as his only viable option, second option, and only other All-Star. And he won back-to-back championships, 2 of the greatest rings ever won in NBA history. They're right there alongside Akeem Olajuwon's 94-95 rings and Dirk Nowitzki's 2011 ring. To me, that's it. That's the list. Kobe's 2 rings there with Gasol, Akeem's 2 rings, and Dirk's 1 ring. Those are the best rings in NBA history, in my opinion. Just a bad series for the Los Angeles Lakers against maybe arguably one of the 2 or 3 best defensive teams ever, and a very shallow team. Karl Malone got hurt early, which impacted that. There's really no parallels with this Nuggets team, though, and that Lakers team in 04, if you ask me. But spin away, GGT, spin away. Giuseppe DeRosa back in again. Go ahead, Gary, with this one.
Which NBA teams should have more rings but doesn't?
The Celtics, for sure. The Celtics seem to have been there, like this Celtics team in particular. Like this Celtics team has seemed to have a window that's extended for like 10 years, and it doesn't seem like it's closing anytime soon. They were in the West, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals like 10 years ago, it seems like, against LeBron James and the Cavaliers. And they're still right there. They have the best, or they're a top 3 roster. They have the best duo in the NBA in Tatum and Brown, a great bench, great defense. And yet they still somehow, they only have 1 ring in this Tatum and Brown era. I mean, Tatum has been in the league 9 years, and they have only 1 ring in that span of time. 126 playoff games in 9 years for Tatum. And Jaylen Brown has been in the league for 10 years. So Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been in the league together for 9 years, and 140 playoff games played for Brown. It's just crazy that team has only 1 ring. Like, that's the underachieving team, if you want to look at one that's underachieving right now. Giuseppe DeRosa is back in. Again, what is up, Giuseppe? Thank you very much for your continued success. Actually, we got back-to-back here from Giuseppe. Go ahead, Gary.
So we're going to forget the Knicks giving belt to ass? No, you mentioned it earlier.
I talked about that, Giuseppe. We've been on for 2 hours here. I talked about mainly the Nuggets off the top, but I did veer off and discuss the other 2 games for about 10 to 15 minutes in the first 45 minutes that I was on air here. It's 2 hours now. We've just passed over. So yes, if you were not here all along, I did talk about the Celtics humiliating themselves against the Sixers again, the Sixers extending that series. And yes, the Knicks in epic beating, in just an epic beatdown of the Hawks. And really, it's been 3 straight games since it was 2-1 Atlanta. The Knicks won by 15, 30, and 51. A game in which they were up, just crazy scores. 47-point lead for the Knicks at halftime, the biggest in NBA playoff history in like the play-by-play era. And then the 61-point lead, also the biggest in NBA playoff history. The score, it was like 103-48 at one point. Like, it was 72-22 in the first half at one point. It was it was like 103-48. Like, the scores were eye-popping. Like, you look at the screen, you're like, what? Like, you have to do like a quintuple take because you can't believe the score that you're looking at in that game. So yes, I did talk about it, Giuseppe, but obviously I came on right after the Nuggets game. I think that the era is over there for Nikola Jokic, the Nikola Jokic era, or at least the era of this core is over as we know it. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, some or all should be gone by the time we restart the NBA season next year. So a lot of this super chats that I've been going through, I've got 49 now. Thank you very much, guys, for your generosity. Still 540 people in here now at 2:30 in the morning here on the East Coast for Gary and I. So thank you guys all very much. I appreciate it. As we've been working through these super chats, and most of them are about the Nuggets. So that's why we've been addressing a lot of Nugget stuff. But go ahead with another one from Giuseppe here, Gary.
Hear me out. Jokic to the Warriors.
No, I don't like it. I don't want Nikola Jokic surrounded by old, unathletic players anymore, or guys at the end. Like, I don't want. There's a lot of discourse about Kevin Durant to Denver, maybe in the offseason. I don't like it. I don't want that. I don't want Jokic to Golden State. I just want Jokic surrounded by young, athletic studs. That's really all. Like it does, like they don't need seasoned veterans. Like just Nikola Jokic is good enough. If you get him 8 or 9 guys deep that are athletic and defensively oriented, like that's all he really needs to succeed in the postseason. So like that's what I would try to work towards. That's the reality I would be working towards in this offseason if it were me, Giuseppe. Okay, next in we've got Stefan Piscano. What's up, my friend? Stefan, a big supporter of me, of the channel, a friend personally. So thank you, Stefan, for being here, and thank you always, as always, for your generosity in donating and supporting us here. I still would love to work with you in a more involved capacity. Hopefully, we can set that up. I would like to start doing a daily show. Actually, that's something I want to be working towards. Maybe we can do something in correspondence with that. But thank you very much for being here tonight. Gary, what is Stefan's question or comment?
Skap, you should try to revitalize your Whitlock bet on Lakers with 2-1 odds. I agree LeBron's cooking up an elite meltdown. Also, how hilarious would it be for the Celtics to get bounced round 1?
It's possible. It can happen. They've lost badly now in back-to-back games, like whatever, 15-ish points in both games. It was 13 tonight. I think it was 15 or 16 last game. And the Sixers were rolling throughout both of those games in the later stages of them. It could happen. Like the way the trajectory of that series is going right now. Tyrese Maxey's playing great. Embiid is showing a lot of heart. Paul George is not vanishing. It can happen. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Boston to not choke in Game 7 at home. I'm saying there's a chance. As for the Whitlock bet, yes, we had a bet before the playoffs began that he would give me $1,000 if I'm sorry, $2,000. He would give me $2,000 if the Lakers lost in the first round, and then I would give him $1,000 if they won the second round, which I thought was a very generous bet by him. He suggested it. I snapped it up because, of course, that's at best that's going to be a split. Like at best, they would win the first round and lose in the second. So at worst, I was going to just be a push and not owe him anything. At best, I would get $2,000. He asked me basically to let him out of the bet when the Lakers lost Luka and Reeves, which I graciously did. Then he's been complaining about it on multiple shows, complaining about the fact that he chickened out of the bet. So you're right. Maybe I should let him back in. He's got that 3-0 cushion. I should have been like, yo, Jace, let me let you back in actually, bro, with odds for me though. I'll give you $1,000 if they get out of the first round, but I want like $4,000 if they lose the 3-0 lead. You're right. I should have done that, Stephen. That's why we need to collaborate more. And I need you in my ear more so you can advise me on those important matters. And I could have got some more money out of him there. Will N 8664 is back in again. What's up, Will N? Go ahead, Gary, with this one.
How do you pronounce that last name? Is it Rizashay?
Zachary Richardze, I believe.
Okay, Rizashay. I'm going to call him Zachary. So how about that? Would you consider Zachary Rizashay as the 2024 #1 pick a bust, or is it too soon?
Again, Gary, it's a fellow Frenchman of your boy, Victor Wembanyama. They played on the national team there together. Zachary Richardze, who was the #1 overall pick in the draft, I believe the year after his fellow countryman, Victor Wembanyama. And he has been below not good these first 2 seasons. But I would say that the verdict is still out. I certainly do not like what I've seen in these first 2 years. I think he is certainly trending in the direction of bust city, but I'm not ready to go there yet. He's only through his second year now. He's still a young guy. I would still hold out hope and withhold the bust moniker on him for now. I think it is slightly too soon. Giuseppe in again. What's up, brother? Gary, what's Giuseppe's 10th super chat of the night say?
Are the 76ers a sleeper pick this year? With Embiid back, they could be.
This is why I don't like them. Even if they do get by the Celtics, I'm pretty sure that the seed line matchup. Let me think here. Boston was the 2 seed. I think New York is the 3, and Cleveland is the 4. I think I'm pretty sure that's right. Which means that the Celtics and the Sixers are on the same bracket side as the Knicks and the Hawks were, which means I really don't like that matchup for Philly against the Knicks. I think if Philly pulls a miraculous comeback in this 3-1 and pulls the upset off, it shows a great amount of fight and heart and character in them. But I think ultimately that they just aren't constructed to beat that Knicks team. The Knicks have a lot of size, length, athleticism, good scoring bursts from the perimeters. They play good defense. I just think the Knicks would likely like to see the Sixers. I think the Celtics are a harder matchup for the Knicks. The Knicks could go all the way then into hell. The Knicks could go to the championship round if the Celtics lose and blow this series against Philly. I think the Knicks would then become my de facto Eastern Conference representative there. Brikola Jokic is back in. Welcome back to you. I thought that he had only had one, but he's in for a second time. Go ahead with this one from Brikola Jokic.
Jokic to Cancun. How about that? Lakers revenge. No, sir, that's not Lakers revenge. The Lakers didn't beat them. The Lakers would be home right now if they drew Denver in round 1.
Yeah, the Lakers would have lost a first-round series to Minnesota or LA, for that matter. Or I'm sorry, the Lakers would have lost to Minnesota or Denver, for that matter. Like whoever the Lakers drew, other than Houston, they were going to lose that series, probably swiftly in like 4 or 5 games. They lucked out to get Houston without Kevin Durant, and now they might still choke that 3-0 series away. I don't think they will, but we'll see. But it's just lucky matchups. The Lakers positioned themselves well and were smart with the way they tanked down the stretch, and the Nuggets obviously were not. Xavier DeGod back in again. What's up, brother? I'll take this one, Gary. Who do I rank higher all time, KD or Kawhi? It's a good question, honestly. I think they both have 2 rings. I like Kawhi's 2 rings better. I like Kawhi's defense better. KD has been more widely available throughout his career. He's a better scorer. I think Kawhi's a better full court player. I think at this point, coming into this postseason, I probably would have had KD. I think I've got Kawhi over KD at this point, higher on my all-time ranking list, but it is close. It's tight. It's a great question, Xavier. But I think I go with Kawhi. I don't like the way either of them have bounced around the NBA. Kawhi has better rings, but he's also gotten luckier on his runs than KD has. It's very close. And I think I would probably have to do a heavier amount of research to really build my case for one or the other. But off the top of my head, you put me on the spot, and I would go with Kawhi, I think. Giuseppe, who can have more super chats tonight, Giuseppe or Xavier? They're in a contest with each other right now. I like it. Go ahead with Giuseppe's most recent one.
Will LeBron Leroy'd up for Game 6?
I don't think the Lakers will win Game 6. I like the Rockets to win again and win their 3rd straight game in the series, but ultimately I do think that the Lakers will prevail in Game 7. It will be just the 5th time a team has taken the series 2-7 after falling down 0-3, the 5th time in 160 opportunities or 160 chances. But I do think, like all of the other 160 teams that came before, the Lakers ultimately will find a way to get it done and win that series. Bricola's back in again. Gary, you don't have to read this. I don't know what this is. It's Gobert, some symbols, Jokic. I don't really know if this is like some kind of programming lingo, some young Gen Z or A or whatever one we're on thing. I don't understand what this is trying to say. He thinks Gobert owns Jokic. 26, 13, 9.5 on 45% for Jokic in this playoff series. So yeah, if 26, 13, and 9.5 is owning, then guilty, I guess. Xavier DeGod is back in again. Go ahead and read this one, Gary, for me.
Jimmy Nutroller is a sellout.
Do we know what that means, Gary? Who's he talking about?
I think he may be talking about the guy is paid and bought for by somebody to spin certain narratives.
But who is Jimmy? Who is Jimmy? Jimmy High Roller.
Yeah,
I got you.
2.65 million subscribers. Because just to clarify your point.
I don't agree with practically anything that he says, but he does have I think he puts out a good product. I don't know. I would imagine he doesn't edit his own stuff at this point. But whoever edits his stuff is quite good. I think he probably does write his own scripts and stuff. So he's good. In terms of the production value and the product, the, visual product that he puts out is top notch. I think his messaging is typically wrong or not good. But nonetheless, I am impressed with the product, the visual product that he puts out, the technical elements of his videos. But yeah, I've never seen a video that I'm like, oh yeah, good point, or that I agree with. Next, Stefan Piscano is back in. Shout out, by the way, Vacation Wealth Partners. I should say that his other handle that he comes on from time to time with. Back in again. What's up, my friend Gary? What's the question or comment this time?
Okay, after this one, do not click on the very next chat. Skip that one.
Okay.
And then go on to HLZ, which is green. So skip the very next one. All right, Vacation Wealth Partners, how are you doing tonight? He says, I just realized that the Nuggets need to hire my husband's Tibbs. Move Murray, hire Tibbs, play Jokic 46 minutes a game. That's a championship recipe. Thibodeau, he is a free agent, right? I think that'd be a great fit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got to move Murray and Aaron Gordon. Again, I can't stress this enough. Murray's 29. I think he'll be, I don't know. I do not know when his birthday is off the top of my head. He is 29 and he's got a February birthday too. So he turns 30 in February. Jokic turns 32 in February. Aaron Gordon is 30 already. And his birthday is September. So he'll be 31 in advance of the season's beginning next year. So they're making $88 million cumulatively next year. I think you got to move both of them, get younger, more athletic, more durable, more defensively oriented around Jokic. If the decision is to keep Jokic, I mean, it's not hard. Build a good defense around Jokic. Let him run everything offensively. And look, if he has these series, 26, 13, 9.5 on 45%, like he's already got all the defense funneling in on him, and he's got no help and support already in these kinds of series. 26, 13, 9.5 on 45% is good enough to win these series if you've got a team of defensive dogs that are holding the opponent to like high 90s or low 100s. Like he can win with those kinds of series and games, but he can't when his team stinks on defense and is outmatched from an athletic standpoint every single series. So you just gotta change it and blow it all up. Yes, Bricola, I guess, has some obscene gestures of some sort. I am going, actually, I don't know how I can I just put this user in timeout, Gary, or
I can
ban
do
this
that.
user?
I can do that. You want me to?
Go ahead and just ban this user or comment, if you can.
The comment or the user?
The user.
Okay.
Bricola, you have outstayed your welcome. I don't care that you're on here talking smack on me, talking smack on Jokic. I don't care, but I will not put up with vulgarities or obscenities on my channel. So thank you very little for the super chats. Gary, go ahead and ban him now. Thank you. Okay. Next in, we've got Hillsboro 738. What's up, Hillsboro? Welcome in to the party. I appreciate you for being here again. Welcome back in. Gary, go ahead with this question or comment.
Watson and Gordon fully healthy next year? Would you ask Braun take a pay cut or send him to Siberia? Also, where would Jokic go if traded?
That's not the way the NBA works, Hillsboro. Like, Christian Brown's not going to restructure his contract at this point. And why would he? Like, would you give back money? Would anybody be willing to give money back? He's signed a contract. It's a done deal. He's earning $125 million over the next 5 seasons. I use the term earning very loosely, of course, in this scenario. Again, him and Jamal should meet up at like the dollar store tomorrow and buy ski masks and get their various assorted whatever weaponry they want to assault the Denver Nuggets facility with, and go in and seize their playoff paychecks by force because they're bums and they certainly didn't earn anything throughout this entire series. But he ain't gonna, there's nothing you can do with him. You can't, there's no amnesty, there's no cut. If you cut him, you still have to pay him and you still get that number hit against your cap figure. So there's nothing they can do except for just hope and pray he's better. Gordon and Watson, I think Watson, yes, can and will be healthy next year. I do not think that Aaron Gordon will ever be again. You got to try to find a way to get rid of his contract. I think you can dupe some other unexpected team. I think you can sell them on a bill of goods that he still has something left and get rid of that contract. So I would try to do that if I were them, and I would definitely get rid of Murray. It's never going to be easier to get rid of Murray than it is now. That contract is also heinous, and they got to get it off the books. So no better time than now when he's coming off of an all-star appearance and an all-NBA selection, more than likely. So to answer your question, Hillsboro, if Jokic would get traded, where? Who knows? Like I said, I liked Houston in the last summer. I think it made all the sense in the world. Right now, as I look around the vast expanse of the NBA, I mean, let's check the playoff bracket, I suppose. I just, off the top of my head, I would suggest maybe Toronto as a potential, with fellow Serbian Darko Rajakovic as the head coach. They had a nice little season. They have nice young pieces. I don't know what their drafts yet. I don't know what all of these teams' draft collaterals look like at this point, which is I would have to look into that to determine or make a determination on that, because that would be a significant piece of the puzzle that they put together, that any team would put together as a package. So I think that I would have to know that going into it. I ultimately still would like the Rockets maybe as a destination if they would be able to get enough pieces after the Kevin Durant trade was made. I doubt that they would be able to. other than that, I look around and I just don't know. At least from these playoff teams. Maybe for a non-playoff team like Charlotte. That's a good suggestion. Teams that I think might be close. Nobody really in the East is jumping out at me. Maybe Dallas, depending on, but I think Dallas wants to just go young. I think they just want to build around Cooper Flag, so probably not that. Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy, readily available question I can answer without really digging into the books of other teams, seeing the contract matches, seeing the draft collateral that they're in possession of. But it's something at Hillsborough that I can put together a video on probably sometime soon. Next, we've got Matt Ye in. What's up, Matt? Welcome in. Matt, I'll take this one, Gary, because he's got a suggestion. We're just talking about where Jokic can go. Jokic to the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, by the way. Brunson's a king. Yeah, I just don't know, though, how they make that match or how they make that contract situation match, because you're going to be gutting a lot of the valuable things that would work well around Jokic. Karl Anthony Towns would be the easy answer because of the contract match. They both are around 55 plus million a year. Both of them have a $60 million player option in 2027, 2028. So that's the easy answer, like Karl Anthony Towns for Jokic straight up. No way in the world would Denver do that. Like, why in the hell would they want Karl Anthony Towns for Jokic straight up? You want to get younger, obviously, and build for the future if you are the Denver Nuggets and you're getting rid of Nikola Jokic. So, yeah, it makes little sense that you trade. Look, Jokic is 31. Cat is 30. So, like, they would probably want pieces like, I mean, this whole team is kind of old. Like, OG Anunoby's 28, Jalen Brunson's 29, Mikal Bridges 29, Josh Hart 31, Mitchell Robinson 28. If anything, what you could do next year, tons of people still under contract. If anything, what you can do is try to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns, and maybe like another like Josh Hart, get rid of both of them by 2027, 2028. Josh Hart is a team option in 2027, 2028. So you can just not pick up that option. And then Cat is on a player option in 2027, 2028. So he would carry a lot of trade value going into that year. So what you could do if you're the Knicks is get Karl Anthony Towns and Hart off the books by 2027. And then Jokic could not pick up his player option, and he can just go sign there as an unrestricted free agent and join a team with OG Anunoby, Brunson, Mikal Bridges. That would be something. I would like that. I would co-sign that, Matt Ye. Good call by you. So it wouldn't be a trade, and it wouldn't be this summer, but it could be coming down the pike maybe in 2 years. Next thing, we've got Tim Tom, American Critic 8079. What's up, Tim Tom? Welcome into you. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Gary, what's the question or comment?
What if Nash stayed with Dirk in Dallas? 4 rings?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. That era in the Western Conference was just too good. It was too loaded. And that was back when defense really did rule the era. I just don't think that there would have been enough defense, because remember that 2011 Mavericks team around Dirk was a beast defensively. They had a bunch of good defensive cogs. Tyson Chandler anchored the defense there. I don't think Nash would have presented enough perimeter frontline defense. You can hide one of the guys like Dirk, but to hide 2 guys is difficult. And I just don't think they probably Dirk would have got more than one, and Nash obviously then would have more than none. I think together maybe I would go so far as to say 2, which would have intrinsically altered the narrative on both of those players' careers. I think if they had 2 rings, that would have been a neat variant universe situation to see unfold, to have both of those players stay together. They obviously love playing with each other. Next in is Giuseppe DeRosa again. Welcome in, Giuseppe. What does he have this time for like I don't know, 17th super chat now? Thank you, Giuseppe. Go ahead, Gary.
Moses Malone, easily the most underrated player ever. I was actually thinking about that today, how underrated Moses Malone is.
Great player, 3-time league MVP, one of the very select few to have more than 2 league MVPs in NBA history. An elite player in his prime. Won only the 1 ring, I believe, with the faux 76ers in 83. One of the best single season teams in NBA history, along with Dr. J that year. Ran through the NBA playoffs. I believe they were 12-1 that year, but let me just confirm that. In 1985, and then 1983, sorry, yes, Moses Malone, the finals MVP that year. They won their first round series. Yes, 4-0, then 4-1, then 4-0. So yes, they 4-0'd, 4-0'd, 4-1, and 4-0'd. So 12-1, like I said, in the postseason in 1983. And just one of the great single season teams. I always talk about that 83 team. They're like a top 7 all-time single season team. Yes, with Moses Malone and Dr. J, still kind of primed. Malone was only 27 at that span of time, and Julius Erving was kind of at the end, but he was 32 years old, still a 21 point per game score. Finished 5th in the MVP in the regular season that season. Moses Malone was the league MVP that year. Moses Malone, league MVP, All-NBA first team, All-NBA defense first team. Yeah, great career for Moses Malone. 3 MVPs in a 5-year span. Unfortunately, he did only win that 1 ring. So a lot of parallels to Nikola Jokic, honestly, I think. A 3-time league MVP, about a decade of mastery. He led the league in rebounding a ton of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a 7-year span, he led the league in rebounding. For his career, 20 points per game, 12 rebounds. Great player. Absolutely. Definitely should get consideration for top 15 for sure. Probably should be thought of as a fringe top 10 player, quite frankly. Alex79 is in next. What's up, Alex? Welcome back into the show. I appreciate you as always being here. Gary, what's the question or comment from Alex?
Denver management must think this through. You can't depend on Jokic being perfect the whole time and losing by 12 with the depleted Minnesota team.
I mean, Jokic tonight had 28 points. 28 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds on 11 of 19 shooting from the field. So, I mean, that's pretty good against Rudy Gobert. I really do think that was a very solid game by Nikola Jokic. Not enough, just not enough around him. So, yeah, Alex, I've been saying it for years and years and years. It's just not working in Denver. The team building, the premise behind the construct, it's just been totally flawed, and it's been totally exposed now for 3 consecutive seasons. Will N8664 is back in again. What is up, Will? Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Looks like some kind of 3-on-3 hypothetical. Go ahead, Gary.
Who would win 3-on-3? Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili versus Wemby, Stephon Castle, and De'Aaron Fox.
I mean, look, Tim Duncan is on my Mount Rushmore. He's to me the 4th best player in NBA history. I love Tim Duncan. I respect him very much. And I do not think that this iteration of the Spurs gets 5 rings, which is what those Spurs got. I think this iteration of this Spurs team will get 4. Yeah, I see Gary. I think 4 is their ceiling.
No, they got 4 because the first one, it was Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The
right.
second
Okay.
one, Ginobili and Parker.
Sure. That combination of players, sure. The Tim Duncan team got 5. I don't think Wemby gets 5. I don't. I think 3. If the over under were 3, I think that's right about on. I would probably take the over because I think 4. I think they get 4, but it very well could push. I don't see 5. So with all that said, in a 3-on-3 matchup,
only because of his health or his ability. If he's healthy, would you not give him 5, or do you just think he's going to be limited because his career is going to get shortened due to health?
Gary, I mean, 5 is a lot of rings. It's not like I think the world of him and this team build, but like 5 is a lot. I mean, the Thunder. Look, let's say the Thunder win this year and the Spurs win next year. But the Thunder and Spurs are going to compete against each other for a decade straight. I think they kind of like the Lakers and the Spurs did back in the day. I think they take away some from each other. And then, if one other team pops up that's very competitive or viable, I think 4 is that would be an amazing career. If Wembanyama gets 4 and 4 MVPs and 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards, he's top 4 all time, I think. So go ahead.
You still didn't directly answer my question. I'm saying, is it only because of his health that you don't think he's going to get 5? Or even if he is healthy, you still don't think he's going to get 5? I was just trying to clarify.
I think even if he is healthy, I think 5 is a reach. I do. And I think that, yes, there will probably be 1 or 2 years where he might not be healthy. Best case scenario for them. So when you add it all up, and the Thunder, who are awesome, and a well-built team, and they've got so much. They've got the Nuggets first-round pick in 27 and 29 or something. They have all these picks still. The Thunder
or the Spurs?
The Thunder. So
I know they had the Clippers pick this year.
They've got the Thunder first-round pick in 27 and 29. So if the Nuggets blow it up or whatever, then you've got it. You're giving up. You're losing your pick next. It's just crazy. So I think when you add all those things up, I think 5 would be a reach. All of this, Gary, is just a way of me saying I respect the hell out of Duncan and what they accomplished. But in a 3-on-3, I do think Wemby, Castle, and Fox would beat the threesome of Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. I do. Because I just think Wembanyama will offset and neutralize Duncan to some degree. And I think Stephon Castle then is probably the next best player, on that of those list of players. Maybe not yet, but he will be. One day he will be better, I think, than Parker and Ginobili.
But if Jokic has dominated Wemby the way that he has, well, Duncan's even better, a much better defender than Jokic. So I'm going to think that Duncan's going to take away from Wemby a great deal.
The thing is, Jokic doesn't dominate Wemby with his defense. Wemby can't stop Jokic offensively. And as great as Duncan is, and again, top 4. So he's 4th on my all-time list. So I'm not suggesting that Jokic will, or ever will get beyond Duncan. Chances are very high he never will. But Jokic is a much better offensive player than Tim Duncan. Overall, Duncan's resume is better. He's one of the 3 best defensive players ever. So for those reasons, I obviously will have Duncan higher than Jokic end of the day. But Jokic presents things to Wemby offensively that Duncan simply can't do and never had within his bag or his repertoire. But yes, Duncan will be much harder to score on for Wembanyama. So this would be close. But again, I'm leaning Wemby, Castle, and De'Aaron Fox. Good question, Will. Go ahead, Gary.
I've got a better hypothetical. Who wins at a LeBron and Dwayne Wade in a 2-on-2? Wade and Braun versus Jason Terry and JJ Barea.
Well, I would want to say that Wade and LeBron would win that matchup, but in the NBA Finals, obviously, Jason Terry and JJ Barea won that matchup to the tune of a championship ring. So, good question there, Gary. Giuseppe is back in yet again. Giuseppe's got a couple more. He just keeps them coming. Thank you so much, Giuseppe. I appreciate it very much. Go ahead with this current question from Giuseppe.
This is an interesting question. If rings vanished, who becomes the NBA GOAT today? Hey, Giuseppe, are you saying the current players today, or do you mean of all time thus far? Like ranging from Bill Russell to Wembanyama? Or do you mean only people in this era? Just let me know in the chat. Don't super chat. Just do a regular chat. And what do you think here, Jay?
He's saying all-time players. He came back into the regular chat and said all-time players. So basically, if rings were not a factor, like who would be the GOAT? I think, to your point, Gary, your number 2 player on your all-time list, probably it's Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT if rings don't count, because he only had 2 and he went to 6. So he's 2 and 4. So he's got a LeBron knock against him there. But if you're not factoring in winning and losing and championship ring counts, I mean, his numbers are just insane. Like, he averaged 40 and 20 for 7 years to start his NBA career. For 7 straight years, he played. First of all, he missed like 20 games total in 7 years. So forget about load management. He didn't do that. He played in almost every game, and he played almost every minute. He averaged like 46 minutes a game in those years where he missed like 20 total games in 7 years. He led the league in scoring every year for 7 years to start his career. And he averaged like 40 and 20 over that span of time. And they didn't even count blocks and stuff when he played. There's been some unearthed statistical box scores of what Wilt and Bill Russell would have done if they counted blocks. Like, Wilt would have been had quadruple doubles and stuff at that point. Like, he would have averaged a triple double with blocks multiple years. So he did it on both ends. He was a freak. He was so durable, so athletic for his size, and so strong and powerful. I think Wilt probably would be the GOAT if all rings vanished.
I agree. That's why I've even told you that I do say Jordan's the GOAT, but I have a hard time putting him over Wilt, because when I think of the quintessential basketball player, Wilt Chamberlain is just the first name that pops to mind, and then Michael Jordan.
Accidentally made this account is in next. I'll just take this one, Gary, because I kind of was looking at it. Do I think that Zion could ever be a title contender? Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Accidentally made this account. Could he be the second fiddle on a championship contender? Yes. Could he be a lead dog on a championship contender? No, because of availability. Availability sometimes is the best ability, and he just simply is not available. Not typically ever. Go ahead, Gary.
I agree with you, but I think he's also asking if Zion was healthy, because I think that, am I correct, incidentally? If he's healthy, do you think could lead a team?
I'm going to still say no. I think from a raw statistical standpoint, yes, he checks all the boxes if he's healthy. He is an elite all-time player in terms of his efficiency and output if he's healthy. But I just don't think he has it between the ears or above the neck, so to speak. So no, I do not think he can lead a championship contending team. And he typically is never healthy anyway. So I would say my answer is no to that, but I do respect him as a talent and as a physical talent. Giuseppe DeRosa is back in yet again. Thank you, Giuseppe. I do appreciate you. Gary, what is Giuseppe's most recent question or comment?
Are the 96 Bulls the greatest team of all time? And shout out to the chat. Please hit that thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the mix. Like I mentioned, the 83 76ers before, or they are in the company. There's like 6 teams ish that I would mention. Like I always would say, like the 86, I think it was the 86 Celtics that lost like 2 home games all year. They had like 5 Hall of Famers, the 6th man of the year that year with Walton. They're really high on my all-time hierarchy. One of the Lakers years, like pick one of them with the Showtime, like one of the mid 80s runs for them would be in the mix for single season teams. You got to get one of those, one of each of those 2 teams. Then the 83 Sixers, the 72 win Bulls in 96 would be in the mix. I think you got to put the 2016 17 Warriors, the team that added Kevin Durant onto the 73 win team, the first year. So like when they won 73 and lost, then added KD, they only won 67 games that year after the 73 year, but they ran through the playoffs. They were 15-1. They eviscerated everybody in their path, including the Cavs, who still had Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving played a hell of a series in that series as well, but it just wasn't even a contest. That team is in the mix, is in the running too. But my answer for this has been, and it will remain to be, Gary, I'll let you in a second, the 01 Lakers. Because
that's who I was going to say.
The 01 Lakers, because they had the hardest run in NBA history other than Akeem's 95 run. So based on SRS, based on strength of opponent, based on winning record or win percentage by opponents, the 2001 LA Lakers had the second most challenging run in playoff history behind only Hakeem's 95 run. But the Lakers also had the second most dominant run in NBA history in 01. They had the second best net differential in NBA history in a playoff run, like 12 points per game they won by on average. They lost 1 game in the playoffs, the best win percentage margin in playoff history. Their 1 game was an overtime loss in game 1 to the Philadelphia 76ers that had that year's league MVP in Allen Iverson, 6th man of the year in Aaron McKee, defensive player of the year in Dikembe Mutombo, and the coach of the year in Larry Brown. That team beat them 1 time in overtime. And other than that, they won every game in the playoffs, and it wasn't close. And they ended the year on an 8-game win streak. So back then, it was still just the best of 5 in the first round. So they only had to win. They won 12 and then 3. So they only won 15, not 16. They were 15-1 in the playoffs, 8-0 to end the year. So they ended the year 23-1. They lost 1 game in overtime to a 60-win team with the MVP Depoy 6-man coach of the year. Just an unbelievable team. And they had no depth, but they had good defense, and they're the only team ever, in my estimation, that had the 2 best players in the NBA in their peak on the team at the same time in Shaq and Kobe. Shaq to run the front court, Kobe to run the back court, and they defended well, and they had an elite all-time coach in Phil Jackson. That team would not be beaten 4 times and 7 by any team in NBA history, in my humble opinion. The best team in league history. Go ahead, Gary.
And if you guys remember, in 99, Spurs won a championship. 2000, when the Lakers won it, Duncan was out. He got a knee injury for the postseason. So in 2001, they got the band back together from 2 years ago, their championship run. They were really freaking good. They were the number 1 seed. What was the record like? Was it 60-something wins, like in mid-60s, like 65-17 or something? 67-15. They were the number 1 seed. And the Lakers went into there. And Kobe beat the shit out of this Spurs team. And this again, I'm going to reiterate, it was a great Spurs team. And they got their asses annihilated. And that's after a game. Shaq said in the interview, yeah, Kobe Bryant's the greatest player on the planet. Then they went and did that in the Alamo Dome for games 1 and 2, and then annihilated them 3 and 4 and swept them. 15-1 in the playoffs. Allen Iverson on a crazy performance in game 1 in overtime, as Jay said. So, and that was what when I put my hand up to come in here, that was the team I was going to suggest, the 2001 Lakers, because that team was just insane.
Yeah, and just to give some context on some of the things Gary was saying, in 99, when the Spurs won their championship, Phil Jackson said there's an asterisk on that championship, that it really didn't count because it was a strike-shortened season. There's only 50 games. The Bulls had broken up. Phil Jackson wasn't in the NBA for that year. And he made those comments when he was hired the next year then in 2000 to be the coach of the Lakers. And he said, yeah, that championship doesn't really count. There's an asterisk on that championship when talking about the Spurs title run in 99. Then Phil and the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe won the championship in Phil's first year in 2000. And the Spurs said that there's an asterisk on that title because the Spurs were defending champions and Duncan was hurt for the playoffs. So they said, oh, well, our championship has an asterisk? No, you guys have an asterisk because we're defending champs and our best player, Tim Duncan, wasn't available in the playoffs. So they were on a collision course in that 01 season. They were heading for that the whole season. Kobe uncharacteristically got hurt and missed like 20 games that year. Derek Fisher missed like 50. So they were without their entire starting backcourt for like a huge chunk of the season. They didn't even have that good of a regular season that year, which is why the Spurs were able to capture the number 1 seed. And everyone was looking at that Western Conference Finals as a heavyweight tilt that was really going to be this epic series. The Lakers blew them to shit in that postseason series. 4-0 Lakers, 104-90, they beat them in San Antonio in game 1. 88-81, they beat them in San Antonio in game 2. Then 111-72 in Staples to take the 3-0 lead. And then 111-82 Lakers in game 4 to sweep them in the playoffs. Take that asterisk and shove it up your ass. You had Tim Duncan in that series, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks a game. Great series from him. Shaq with 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 1 block a game for him. So great series by Shaq and Duncan. The best player in that series was 22-year-old Kobe Bean Bryant. You know, Robin, who got carried. 33 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 steals, a block on 51% shooting for Kobe Bryant. And the best 2 players in the NBA that year, Kobe and Shaq, on the best team ever, the 2001 Lakers, ladies and gentlemen. Gary, thank you for helping me to add the context there. We've got in next, Vinsanity the Great. Yes, I'll just take this one real quick. Gary, Vinsanity the Great, obviously a Raptor fan here, Toronto fan. Jokic is out, but Darko Rajakovic, the legend, the Serbian legend, it's a complete crap. That guy, that's outrageous. That guy is still fighting right now in these playoffs. They've got a big game facing elimination. As I said, I don't know if you heard Vinsanity, I would welcome a trade to Toronto for Jokic in the offseason. Pair up the 2 Serbs, get Darko and Jokic together in the East. I like it. I would take that. Vinsanity the Great. Next in, Will N8664 is back in yet again. What's up? And then we've got Giuseppe back in again. The regulars really making it count tonight for me, guys. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate you guys. Gary, what is the latest from Will N?
Who is the better father-son duo, Bron and Bronny Jr. or Delonte West and LeBron?
I mean, probably Delonte and LeBron, I suppose. Delonte has really fallen on some hard luck at this point of his life. He has been homeless for several years. He has obviously got addicted to the wrong kinds of drugs. I, though, did see an article that he was sober for like a couple months. So hopefully Delonte is turning things around. But yes, for an NBA player who made several $1 million to be living on the streets, it's just been a sad state of affairs. But yes, way back in the day, of course, if you don't remember, Delonte West was getting nice with Gloria James, LeBron's mom, during the, and this is a story too ridiculous to even believe, really. A story that broke in the, I think it was the 2010 postseason when the Cavs were up 2-1 on the Celtics in the East semis, and then LeBron just vanished in games 4, 5, and 6. The Celtics never won another game. And the story broke in the aftermath of them getting eliminated that Delonte West was tapping Gloria, LeBron's mom. So a story just too crazy to believe, but it is true. So, and Delonte was a good player back in the day. While he was in the NBA and not on several kinds of drugs. Again, it's just sad. If you Google Delonte West and see the images of him now, it's sad, but he had a couple nice years there, a couple double-digit years. He averaged double-digit points per game 4 times in his career. I don't think young Bronny is ever going to sniff that kind of NBA productivity. So I'd probably say not Bronny and LeBron is not they're not the answer to this question, Will N. Finally, our 59th and final super chat of the night. Thank you guys so much for such a very generous night by you guys. Giuseppe DeRosa in fittingly with the final super chat of the night because he did have a prolific night in the super chat from a super chat standpoint. Gary, what is this final one from him and from the entire chat tonight?
The 2011 Mavs definitely had a very difficult run.
For sure. And I mentioned them as one of the best rings in NBA history. I would say the 95 Akeem run is the best run ever, followed then by the Dirk run in 2011, and then maybe the 94 Akeem run, and then the 2 Kobe runs in 9 and 10. Those would probably be my best rings, my most virtuous rings in NBA history. Yeah, the Dirk run was nuts that year. I think they beat the Thunder with all 3 of Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. They beat Kobe, stopped his run at another three-peat that year. And then they beat the super team Heat. Their first round opponent wasn't anything crazy in 2011. I want to say it was like the Blazers or something, like not anything like extra worldly. Let me check it out real quick. Yes, the Trailblazers. Guys, I just know these things. Dallas beat Portland in the first round, then the Lakers in the second round, then the Thunder, and then the Heat. So a very, very great run, but not as good as Akeem's run was in 95. It was insane. The run that Hakeem Olajuwon made, just insane. I think the win percentage of his opponents in 95 was like 73%, which is unheard of, like 10% higher than any team ever faced. Like, it's just crazy. He played a 60-win team in the first round. That year he played I think it was the Jazz in the first round. So Stockton and Malone in the first round that won 60 games. And Malone, of course, a 2-time league MVP. I believe next was like 59-win Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns. So a league MVP. Then the West Finals was San Antonio that won 60 that year, and David Robinson that year's league MVP. So those were his first 3. Then a 59 or 60 win Orlando Magic team with Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway. So a league MVP and Shaq. Like, that is an insane run. Like, you go through Malone, Barkley, David Robinson, and Shaq in successive series, and basically all of them won 60 games. It was a ridiculous run. There will never be another run better. And that is, of course, because Hakeem and the Rockets were the 6th seed in the playoffs that year. So that is also the lowest seed in NBA history to run a playoff gauntlet. So these are some of the reasons why Hakeem Olajuwon is in my top 5 all time, and he's very close to my Mount Rushmore, but he just can't penetrate my Mount Rushmore, which is Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, and Duncan. But he's very close. I'm very close to putting Hakeem over Kareem, but Kareem's overall resume is just so good that I struggle to do that. Anyway,
while I was saying the 95 Rockets run is the toughest ring of all time.
By far. It's not close, Gary. It's not close. And just to confirm what I just rattled off, again, I trust my memory implicitly, but let me just double check my math. Let me confirm what I said was accurate. It was the 94-95 season. The Houston Rockets were 47-35 as the 6th seed. They beat in the first round, yes, the Utah Jazz, as I said, 60-22. They then beat in the second round, yes, as I said, the Phoenix Suns, who were 59-23. They then in the Western Conference Finals beat
62-20.
Yes, as I said, the Spurs, like I said, 62-20. And then in the NBA Finals, yes, as I said, the Orlando Magic, 57-25. You will never find a harder run than that. When you look at the SRS, it's overwhelmingly the best run. That standard rating system, which basically just it depicts how difficult your opposition was in terms of like their raw record and then their advanced things. They're like defensive standing, et cetera, et cetera. It is easily the hardest run. And then if you just look at the win percentage of opponents faced on the way to a title, easily the best, easily the highest ever. Okay, we've got a couple more super chats that slid in here now. 3 more super chats to be precise. While I was answering that one, 62 super chats now. We've got Wolves in my Roman numerals are so bad right now. That's 6 Wolves in 6 VI, I believe. That is what happened. Wolves did win in 6. So welcome in Wolves in 6. A very generous donation here to probably talk some shit about his Wolves, I would think. Gary, what does Wolves in 6 have for us tonight?
Hey, Skap, just wanted to point out that you ignored the Wolves were without McDaniels and Reed in that 23 series versus the Nuggets. And Bruce Brown said that might have still been their toughest matchup of those playoffs. Shout out Minnesota.
Yeah, okay. And Jamal Murray was trash and hurt in the 2024 loss. That was that was a game 7 loss. So that factors into that win for Minnesota. And then yes, Minnesota had lost the more impactful players or the better players, but they were also without Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson are 2 of their 4 best players this year. So injuries obviously played a pretty big factor in that. But yes, the Minnesota series, to address that, I'm looking at the team. Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Nickeil Alexander-Walker played in 5 games. Yes, they were missing guys. But they had Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker was their starting 5 for that series. And then, of course, the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope were their starting 5. And look, Jokic, for all the talk about Gobert owning, like, again, this year, he was 26, 13, and 9.5. This year, he was 26, 12, and 9 that year on 48%. So he's 45% this year, is 48% that year. Like, he was the same. Like, Jokic is the same. But Jamal Murray that year in that series, 27 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds on 47% shooting. Like, he was just different. And then you had a healthy Aaron Gordon in that series, a healthy Michael Porter Jr. Aaron Gordon shot 50% from the field. Michael Porter Jr. shot 49%. Like, the difference is the supporting cast. Like, they just haven't had that level of support for Jokic since, really. And that was the playoff run, and that was it. Thank you, though, Wolves in 6. I appreciate your generosity there. Xavier DeGod is back in. Go ahead with this hypothetical, Gary.
What if Kobe and Shaq faced each other in the finals?
Well, obviously, I would take Kobe. Shaq's been swept more than any player in NBA history, and Kobe Bryant was a ruthless killer, a maniacal competitor, and a win-at-any-cost kind of guy. So, obviously, I would take Kobe in that scenario. And Kobe won more playoff games and series than Shaquille O'Neal without Shaq than Shaq did without Kobe. And that's despite the fact that Shaq played with exponentially better teams and better rosters than did Kobe without Shaq. So, I'm, of course, Xavier, I'm taking Kobe. That's one of your easier hypotheticals. We've got Sam Null in next. Sam, what's up? Welcome in. My goodness, just more and more super chats just keep rolling in. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for that. And what does Sam have for us tonight, Gary? You're on mute, Gary.
Good players like Jokic should stop picking or sabotaging good coaches. Leave the management to the front office.
Yeah, I don't know how much say-so Jokic really has or wants in any of these things. The only time I've ever heard of Jokic getting involved with the front office is when he was petitioning them to bring on Russell Westbrook. So, like, that, and that was honestly a good move. Like, that worked. If Russ didn't have broken bones in his wrist or fingers on his shooting hand in the playoffs, I think that would have ended maybe a little differently for that Russ experiment. He was very good during the regular season. Other than that, Jokic doesn't really get involved, other than he doesn't want them to get rid of anybody ever. Like, he wants to keep he loves these guys. He loves his teammates. He doesn't want to lose these guys. So I feel like that's his level of involvement, is just not wanting change. So in that regard, I agree with you. He needs to stay out of it, and the front office needs to blow this thing up. Next in is Lil Big Man 03. Welcome in, Lil Big Man. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the support here in the sponsor area. Gary, what's the question or comment?
Did Lalbaco throw the 2011 finals or have a meltdown?
No way he threw that. No way. He just had a complete and utter meltdown. It's one of the biggest, to me, it is the singular biggest choke job in the history of professional organized basketball. It completely invalidated him being the GOAT. It's been over since 2011. He's had no claim or hold on that title ever since. So, no, he didn't throw it. He certainly just crapped in his pants, which, again, he has a penchant to do throughout his NBA career. Dylan is in. What's up, brother? Model Body Fit is in. I'll just read this one. What's up, guys? Gary, I'm also a Spurs fan. So you were inquiring on his fandom, Gary. I don't know if that was earlier tonight or last night. We've been on for 3 hours and 8 minutes, so this could just be running into each other now at this point. But to answer your question, I know he's in Miami, but he is a Spurs fan. So looking like a good year for your Spurs, yours and his. Gary, go ahead.
He said he was a Cavaliers fan last year. I don't think he's telling me the Spurs are his favorite team. I think he's saying he's a fan of the team, right, Model? Because you're a Cavaliers fan, correct? And he's got another one coming up after this too, Jay. But yeah, I didn't know that. I don't recall him saying that last year. But He said no, sir. Okay, go ahead and sweet. Well, we'll get to this question and then I'll get back. Do you guys see Braun actually losing in 7 or no?
I do not. I've said it. I've been saying it. I'll continue to say it. No, I like the Lakers still to win this series. It's never happened before that a team's blown a 3-0 lead, and because of a reason, because it's hard. It's almost impossible to do. So I still do think the Lakers are going to win. I also, though, think that Houston's going to make them sweat and make it very interesting. I think that the Lakers will lose tomorrow, and then they'll ultimately win in Game 7. So I do not think that they will ultimately pull the historic choke job off, but Houston will join an elite and very small group of teams to get it into a Game 7 after going down 0-3. They will become just the 5th team in NBA history to do it. We learned this, of course, during the show last night. I talked about it again today in a video. The 1951 Knicks against the Rochester Royals was the first team to do it. Then again in 94, the Nuggets, when they played the Utah Jazz. Then the Mavericks and Trailblazers. The Blazers fell down 0-3 and came back against the Mavericks and forced a Game 7. And then most recently, it was the Celtics that forced the Heat into a 7th game in 2023 after the Heat had taken a 3-0 lead on them. So those are the 4 teams that Houston will be seeking to join tomorrow in Houston. They are favored to do so. So that will be interesting to see. And obviously a lot of drama there to unfold, I'm sure, in that one. And then hopefully a very intriguing Game 7 on Sunday. Okay, we've got GGG YY7104N. Go ahead with this question or comment on this one.
Just a reminder that 23 Nuggets, by far weakest ring in sports history, 0 50-win teams, and only 1 45-win team played. Trash ring by Skap's own logic.
Yeah, I talked about this ring specifically earlier, so I don't know. Maybe we've been on for 3 hours and 11 minutes now, so perhaps GGY7104 just wasn't on when I spoke about this ring before. I'm not saying that was a great ring or one of the best rings, but I think you do factor in the supporting cast, which, again, Jokic's best player on that team was Jamal Murray, who is the only all-star that he's ever played with, and he wasn't an all-star until this year in his 9th season. So the fact that his supporting cast was so lousy enhances the quality of that ring, in my estimation. Furthermore, I talked about individuals as well for that Akeem ring that I just outlined. That he played Karl Malone first, then Charles Barkley, then David Robinson, then Shaquille O'Neal. Well, yes, the records weren't good in the 23 ring by Jokic, but he played Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, for that matter. 2 perennial all-stars. And he has no perennial all-stars. He then went on to play perennial all-stars in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. He then went on to play perennial all-stars in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And those aren't just perennial all-stars. Those are like, some of those guys are like top 50 all-time players. So he beat those guys with relative scrubs surrounding him. So while I never said GGGY, that was a great ring, but it certainly is a lot better than uneducated, ignorant trolls will make it out to be in retrospect and hindsight. When you look at the fact that, again, Jokic had Jamal Murray as his second option and went through a team with Ant-Man and Cat, a team with KD and Booker, a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis. So whatever your point is, I guess, duly noted. Thank you very little for that super chat. Like I said, though, maybe he missed when I talked about that ring in comparison to the 2022 ring that Steph Curry won on the other end or earlier in the show. Okay, that was our 66th super chat of the evening. 3 hours and 15 minutes. It is 3:40 in the AM where I'm coming out of. I didn't get much sleep last night, I must say. I was up on this. I was up till like now last night. So I was up till like literally we signed off at 3:40 last night. It is now 3:40 again tonight. And I was up this morning at 7:30. So it has been a very long day, a very long night. But you guys just kept me in it. I was in the game because of these 66 very generous super chats that you guys bestowed upon me. And I'm very grateful, not only to you guys, but also to the 436 people that are still on right now, 3 hours and 15 minutes in at 3:40 my time. Crazy good turnout tonight. Nearly 1,000 people at peak, and still 430 now. So nice retention by all you guys. I love you guys out there for being here for me. I enjoy being here with you. Gary, moderator Gary, many thanks to you as always for being here and doing this with me for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Tomorrow night, Friday night, I don't know. I might be too wiped to get on here unless I find a way to get some kind of a nap or something, because I got to get up at 7:30 again. I've got some things going on this week that force me to be up at 7:30. And once I'm up at 7:30, then my dog that runs my life takes over the rest and bosses me around then for the rest of the morning. Then I got to make another video. I got to do probably like a 25-minute video on this outcome, and find time for my workout, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know you guys don't really want to hear about the schedulings of a YouTube content creator, but this time of the year is hard to find sleep for me. So I'll see what I can do. The games tomorrow, Detroit trying to stave off elimination on the road against Orlando, Cleveland trying to close it at Toronto, and then the Lakers at Houston. So all compelling closeout game scenarios tomorrow as well. I'd like to get on again if I can tomorrow night. We'll see though, TBD. Gary, anything you would like to say on our way out tonight? You're muted, though, if you do.
Just saying, we're about to have some fun here, because either the Lakers are going to commit the biggest choke in NBA history, or option B, we get to see them get throttled and annihilated and humiliated by OKC. So those are going to be some fun live streams. And also, the Timberwolves Spurs, I think it's going to be a pretty grueling series.
Yeah, I don't think so, Gary. Not unless there's murmurings that Ant-Man might be back at some point in that series, midway through. He's a freak. He's one of these like ridiculously durable, like athletic mutants that like just somehow. Like that knee injury that he suffered, I would think like it's done. It's over. He's out for the year. He's out for like 7 or 8 months. Like Giannis or LeBron. Like you see these grueling, like gruesome looking injuries that you're like, oh man, like that's bad. That's like 5-6 weeks or more, and then they're back like in like a week or two, if that. So if Anthony Edwards can come back at some relative level of health in the next round, then maybe. But other than that, if Ant-Man's out and he can't get back, the Spurs aren't the Nuggets. They're not going to play around with their food. So I think that the Spurs are going to command and control that series and keep their eye on the prize, which is that Oklahoma City Western Conference Finals. Go ahead.
So you're picking Wolves over the Spurs, regardless if Ant-Man comes back or not? Or
no, Spurs.
Spurs either way?
Either way.
You haven't even asked me what I think.
Gary, you already said that the Wolves are a bad matchup. I know that you don't trust the Spurs. I know that you think they're too young and inexperienced, and you thought that the Nuggets were going to be the one to beat them in the second round, and that Wemby would take that as a learning opportunity moving forward against Jokic. So I know likely you're thinking that the Timberwolves have life and have a real fighting chance in that series. I mean, I just don't see it. But you know the Spurs better than me, so maybe.
What I'm saying is I think the Spurs are going to have problems with that length because the team, they're used to being longer than their opponents. They're not longer, and I think De'Aaron Fox is going to have a really hard time with McDaniels the same way Murray did.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But Stephon Castle is going to be a matchup problem, I think, in that series. And look, Dylan Harper is growing up before our very eyes, so maybe he's got a second series in him as well. And then Victor Wembanyama is just an elite competitor and a very mature player, and he's light years ahead as a man and as a player. Than his light years ahead of what his age indicates. So I really do think that they're on a collision course with the Thunder. Go ahead.
From what I remember, Randall and Gobert were double teaming him, and they completely shut him down, kind of like what they did with Jokic.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they've got Randall and Gobert, and they've got Naz Reid, who's really big off the bench. So they do have a lot of big bodies to throw in at it. So, I mean, we'll see. It will be an interesting, it will still, the Wolves will compete. They've been in 2 consecutive Western Conference Finals for a reason. They're a very deep, well-structured team. So I think we've got good storylines, at least in that series. The Thunder are just going to absolutely work whoever moves on from this Lakers-Rockets series. So that's going to be an embarrassment, obviously. But yeah, big games tomorrow. We'll see if I can get on. I will try my best. I'm really going to be dragging here moving forward if I do it, but who knows? I love being on. Gary, many thanks again to you. Guys, thanks so much again for the turnout tonight. Really appreciated. And make sure that you go to Gary828, check his regular channel out, his sports channel. Give him a follow there, watch some of his videos. And as always, please do make sure that you are subscribed with notifications turned on to stay up to date with more from me.